Welcome to Birmingham, Alabama, where today the Pitt Panthers are delighted to be back on the field to gain an escape from the month-long turmoil that has surrounded their program. The Kentucky Wildcats have had their own in-house issues that have resulted in a significant change. With all that has happened off the field, who will step up inside the white lines today? It's Pitt and Kentucky in the BBVA Compass Bowl next. Welcome to the BBVA Compass Bowl in historic Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. This afternoon, it's the Big East against the SEC as the Pitt Panthers take on the Kentucky Wildcats. Hi, everybody. Mike Gleason here. Great to have you with us for this Big East SEC matchup. Now, for Kentucky, it's their 5th consecutive bowl game. For Pittsburgh, it's their 3rd. But to say things have been a little bit tumultuous at Pittsburgh over the last month or so, well, might be an understatement. Dave Wanstead, after going 10-3 last season, went to 7-5 this year. And the entire Pittsburgh community was shocked on December 7th when Dave Wanstead was forced to resign. Pittsburgh found their new head coach in Mike Haywood, who coached Miami of Ohio this past year. That was on December 16th. He was fired January 1st, less than 24 hours after being arrested in South Bend, Indiana on a domestic violence charge. Now, Wanstead had the option of coaching today, decided not to because he thought he might be a distraction. So Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator, will be the acting head coach of Pittsburgh today. On that note, we bring in my partner, John Congemi, the former Pitt quarterback. Now, after back-to-back second-place finishes, they tied for first this year. So the Pitt coaching staff shocked that Dave Wanstead will let go. You're a former quarterback. What were your thoughts?
I think shock's a good word. Surprise is another good word because Dave Wanstead represented what you want in a head coach at the University of Pittsburgh. You can tell by the players he recruited. You can tell by the coaching staff he assembled. And you can tell by the success they were having. They were a team that was developing, a team that was bringing in new players each year to compete for the Big East title and compete for bigger goals than that. So Dave Wanstead is what you wanted as a coach at the University of Pittsburgh. This was going to be his last job, and unfortunately it ended a little too soon.
And now the spotlight, John, goes back on the players. The Pitt Panthers say they're ready to go, they're focused, but saying it and doing it sometime can be two different things.
I think it's going to be a tough task for the Pitt players today to come out and focus. Now, Dave Wanstead prepared this team in pre-bowl game practices up until New Year's, and he's been consulting, on the sidelines and on the phone with his coaching staff, and he's been doing a great job of getting Phil Bennett involved and up to speed. But these players will play for their old head coach. They will play for the coaches on the sideline, but more importantly, they will play for this university and the city of Pittsburgh, a very proud football team you'll see today.
And the Pitt Panthers aren't the only ones making some adjustments here today. For more on that story, let's check in with the third member of our broadcast team. Here's Kara Capuano.
Well, guys, Kentucky endured its own major change in December, and that came at the quarterback position. Fifth-year senior Mike Hartline was having the best season of his career. He passed for almost 3,200 yards, but on December 10th, Hartline was arrested for disorderly conduct and public intoxication. He was suspended from today's game, but as the mistake was uncharacteristic to his behavior, Hartline was allowed to work with the team in a student coaching role that he'll continue today. Enter sophomore Morgan Newton. He started 8 games last year when Hartline was hurt, went 5-3, but this year in limited action has attempted only 7 passes. Head coach Joker Phillips tells us that Morgan is a more proficient passer now, and he knows the offense better. They're going to need proficiency from him. Dick, Mike?
Thanks a lot, Kara. Now, keep in mind, we certainly do have some playmakers to keep an eye on today. Randall Cobb needs 119 all-purpose yards to break Darren McFadden's SEC single-season record. And for Pittsburgh, Dion Lewis is only 62 rushing yards from breaking LaShawn McCoy's mark after their freshman and sophomore season at Pitt. The kickoff from Birmingham is coming up next.
Sunday, college football comes to the city by the bay. The 12-1 Nevada Wolfpack face the Boston College Eagles in the inaugural Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl. Kraft Foods and its iconic brands such as Oreo, Kraft Singles, Maxwell House, Kraft Mac and Cheese, and Oscar Mayer are proud sponsors of the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl.
An amazing comeback by the Wolfpack.
Nevada versus Boston College, Sunday at 9 Eastern on ESPN.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Was Abe Lincoln honest?
Does this dress make my backside look Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Back in Birmingham, Alabama, Pittsburgh at 7-5. The Kentucky Wildcats needing this victory here today to finish 7-6 on the year. Joker Phillips, in his first year as the head coach, the first Kentucky coach to go bowling in his initial year, and the first to start the season 3-0 since the legendary Bear Bryant way back in 1946. But, John, they really need this one here today.
They really do. At 6-6, Joker Phillips, the right man in the right spot for the Kentucky Wildcats. He's a former teammate of mine up in the Canadian Football League. He's very organized, very disciplined, very matter-of-fact in what he wants to do with this football team, and they've got the right guy on that sidelines.
Now, Kentucky won the toss. They deferred, so Pittsburgh will have the football first. So Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator, will be acting as the head coach today, so he's got some offensive decisions with that two-headed monster now, Dion Lewis and Ray Graham.
Well, he has the luxury of relying on two guys in the backfield. Ray Graham, very dynamic. He had 3 touchdowns and 277 yards in an earlier game against FIU, but Dion Lewis, he's the constant. 12 touchdowns on the season. He has that jump cut. He has the elusiveness inside the tackles. He's tough to bring down for a small guy. So you'll see both of these guys today trying to get the running yards for the Pitt Panthers. That's what they'd like to do offensively, set the tone with the run.
And you see the Panthers dropping back. That's Ray Graham, number 1. He'll be back with Cam Sadler, the sophomore from Pennsylvania. And the Panthers rolling over Cincinnati to close out the regular season. Again, last year they won their bowl game in Charlotte. They beat North Carolina to finish 10-3. Slipped to 7-5. They tied with UConn and West Virginia for the Big East lead. And this football game is underway. And it's going to be Graham at about the 16-yard line. So a short kick. He's all the way up over the 25 to about the 26. A 10-yard return. And Quay Huzzy making the stop. Tino Sinceri, first year as a starter, 65%, John.
Yeah, the sophomore quarterback out of Central Catholic High School in Pittsburgh. He's gained valuable experience this season. He's maturing as a quarterback, and I think he's taking ownership of this offense. So this is a guy that can make all the throws, 15 touchdowns on the season. The running game will help him early.
15 touchdowns, as you mentioned, 8 INTs, 2,476 yards for Tino Sinceri. Inoski in motion as they drop into the I formation. They're going to keep it on the ground. And there's some running room. Dion Lewis all the way up to the 35-yard line. Picks up 8 on the first play. Let's check the offensive lineup now for the Pitt Panthers. Keep an eye on John Baldwin, number 82. Could be playing his final game as a Pitt Panther. 52 catches, averaging just under 16 yards a catch. Baldwin, only a junior, but decided he's going to try the NFL draft. Up front, Jason Pinkston, Chris Jacobson, Alex Carabine, Lucas Nix, and Jordan Gibbs. Pinkston, a 2-time All-Big East first-team selection. Sinceri comes out, fires. Inoski, the big fullback, up over the 40-yard line, and they're going to move the chains. 130 tackles coming in today. And the secondary, their strength at the safety. Michael Bailey, the big hitter. Winston Guy, 98 tackles, 3 INTs. Dion Lewis gets the call. More running room on the left side. Cuts it back, and he's up over the 45-yard line. So, John Congemi, it looks like Pittsburgh has that running game down early.
Well, very important for Pittsburgh to win on first down. That'll allow Tino Sinceri more options on second down. Remember, Frank Cignetti, the former offensive coordinator at Pitt, is now at Rutgers, and Brian Angelico is calling the plays today. So this is a situation for Pittsburgh. If they can win on first down, it'll make it easier for coordinator and quarterback.
2nd and 4 for the Pitt Panthers. First possession of the 2011 BBVA Compass Bowl here in Birmingham, Alabama. Sinceri comes up firing. Another completion all the way down to the 40-yard line. That's John Baldwin with his 53rd-yard catch. A gain of 12 right now, John. Let's take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you by TaxSlayer.com. First for Pittsburgh.
Well, for Pittsburgh, they have to stop Randall Cobb on the offensive side. He's electric for Kentucky. They have to get John Baldwin involved. They got him involved there on that pass. Perfect pass to the outside. Create a pass rush defensively. They're going to be without their playmakers on the edge, and Jabal Sheard, so Brandon Lindsey will have to have a big day.
Panthers double tight end out of the I formation. Dion Lewis cuts it back again. Lewis inside the 35-yard line, trying to move the pile closer to the 30. And so Dion Lewis a gain of 7. Now keep in mind, Dion Lewis, as we mentioned at the top of the show, only 62 yards shy of breaking LaShawn McCoy's mark, 2-year mark. And he's only 49 yards shy of climbing all the way to number 5, passing Billy West as far as the rushing charge, John. But he, too, might try the NFL draft.
Well, you never know what Dion's going to do, but he had a sensational season last year, and this year was slow to start, but he's been picking it up since the midway point.
Lewis, 3 carries, 22 yards already, but Sinceri, he's perfect. His second completion to the big fullback, Hynoski, inside the 20-yard line. Rick Binner, the defensive coordinator, calls Hynoski the war daddy. Picks up 13.
Well, he's right. Henry Hynoski can do a little bit of everything. You ask him to block and bloody his nose in the middle of those tackles and provide room. He's done a nice job, and good play calling so far by Brian Angelico. He's really spread the football out to Baldwin. He's got it to Hynoski a few times, getting Dion Lewis running north and south in between the tackles. Pitt looks good early.
Brian Angelico calling the shots up in the booth. Frank Cignetti, the offensive coordinator, already accepting a job with Rutgers and Greg Schiano. More on that in a minute. Sinceri comes up firing, and this one's going to be picked off. Randall Burton, the cornerback, comes up and picks it off after Sinceri opened up beautifully. He was perfect until that throw.
Yeah, the throw looked like it was just a touch late, and that's all he needed was Randall Burton to get an extra step. Watch Tino hold on to the football just a second too long. A long throw from a hash outside to the numbers, but great anticipation by Randall Burton on the outside. He flexed out with Mike Cruz. Mike Cruz did not attack the football. He's not normally outside in that flex position, so you get a tight end outside instead of a wide receiver. He doesn't break on the football, but the guy that does is wearing blue and wearing number 24.
Just the 16th forced turnover for the Wildcats, their 9th INT for the season. So here are the Wildcats now. Their first possession. Newton comes out firing, and it's complete over the 20-yard line. LeRod King, he's a sophomore out of Radcliffe, Kentucky, picks up 6 on the first play. So Morgan Newton, John, 6'4", 235, big-time recruit out of Carmel, Indiana. But he lost the job to Mike Hartline, and he was visibly upset back in August when he did not get the starting nod.
Well, it was a close decision, but a big, strong guy with a great arm. He's athletic and very hard to tackle when he's back in the pocket. He will run the football.
And here he goes inside the 20. Not too much running room that time. As we take a look at the starters for the Kentucky Wildcats on the offensive side. Randall Cobb leads the SEC, 79 catches. Chris Matthews leads the SEC with 9 touchdown receptions. Derek Locke has 10 rushing touchdowns. And up front, Billy Joe Murphy replaces Chandler Burden at the left tackle. Burden out with a shoulder injury. 2nd and 5 for the Wildcats. Out of the shotgun now. Morgan Newton. 3rd and 5. I stand corrected. He swings it out, and this is Derek Locke. Locke is all the way up over the 25, close to the 28-yard line. A gain of 8 on the play, and John Conjemi, keep in mind that he's been timed in the 40 with a 4.21.
Yeah, you can see the elusiveness, especially when he gets in space. Derek Locke does an excellent job of catching the football out of the backfield and then showing that burst. He runs right away from a would-be tackler on the outside. Dom DeSico misses that tackle in the open field, but that's not an easy task when you have Derek Locke in space.
10 rushing touchdowns for Locke, and he missed 4 complete games this year. Newton comes out firing, and this one's complete to Chris Matthews up over the 35-yard line. So Matthews has his 58th catch of the season, and they pick up 9 more. So both teams looking impressive offensively.
And both quarterbacks really settling in very early, spreading the football out to multiple players. You see Morgan Newton getting Locke involved, getting LeRod King, getting outside to Chris Matthews, and we haven't seen the big hitter yet, wearing number 18, Randall Cobb.
Second and 1 for the Cats. Locke again, plenty of running room, showing that burst of speed. Inside the 40-yard line, all the way down to the 35. Dom DeSico finally pushed him out of bounds. 28 yards on the rush by Derek Locke.
Well, you talked about the speed, but it was a missed tackle by Jared Hawley, number 18, going off the right side. Little misdirection. Everybody wearing a white jersey was washed down. There's the missed tackle around the 45-yard line. That allows Locke to continue down the football field. Great balance shown on the outside, and a nice drive started by Morgan Newton.
The Cats coming in averaging about 163 yards rushing and 274 passing. They were number 2 in the SEC. But of course, that was Mike Hartline as the quarterback for Kentucky this year. And again, a good pressure inside. The ball on the carpet. And they're going to say Pittsburgh has it. So Pittsburgh throws an INT, and now Pittsburgh recovers a fumble.
Well, it looked like Brandon Lindsey, number 35, the defensive end for the Panthers. He's going to have to play a big role in this defense with the loss of Jabral Sheard on the one side. So 35, you see the strip right in the backfield. He misses Newton the initial time, but then gets that right hand on the football from behind. Just a terrific job by the Panthers, causing havoc in the Kentucky backfield.
No score, 9:20 to go. So Brandon Lindsey comes up with the big fumble recovery for the Pitt Panther. We're scoreless in Birmingham.
Meet Dale Jr., NASCAR owner and driver of the Tax Slayer car.
In this business, you make it or break it by 2 words: fast and efficient.
That's why when tax season rolls around, Dale and his crew turn to TaxSlayer.com to file their taxes the fastest and most efficient way possible.
Tax Slayer is quick and easy, and it only costs $9.95. It's even powerful enough to handle my return.
Do what the guys who know a little bit about speed and efficiency do. Log on to TaxSlayer.com.
File your taxes fast with TaxSlayer.com.
When it comes to investing, no one person has all the answers.
So TD Ameritrade doesn't give me just one person.
Questions about retirement?
I talk to their retirement account specialist.
Bonds? Grab the phone. Fixed income specialist.
TD Ameritrade knows investors sometimes need real live help.
Not just one broker,
a whole team there to help.
Help me decide what's right for me. People with answers at TD Ameritrade.
Get up to $500 when you open an account.
That's right. It's a beefy crunch burrito. And yes, it's loaded with flaming hot Fritos chips because I don't like playing it safe. I'm a wild man, but also responsible because it's just 99 cents. So why don't you turn around one more time? I dare ya. Oh boy, now what? The new 99-cent beefy crunch burrito. The crunch of flaming hot Fritos chips, seasoned beef, and nacho cheese sauce. All for just 99 cents at Taco Bell.
Can we turn the AC up? I'm dying back here.
Jeff, eat a Snickers, please.
Why?
Every time you get hungry, you turn into a diva.
A diva?
Yes, a diva.
Okay.
Thank you. Better?
You're not you when you're hungry.
Better.
Snickers satisfies.
Hi, I'm Manolo Sanchez, President and CEO of BBVA Compass Bank. Congratulations to the universities of Kentucky and Pittsburgh. We are committed to serving our customers, offering unique banking solutions that help them succeed. In our bank, we believe in teamwork and fair play. We are passionate about our business, and we recognize your passion for college football. That's why we are proud to host the BBVA Compass Bowl. Good luck to both schools and enjoy the game.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio. ESPN College Football, the BBVA Compass Bowl, is brought to you by BBVA Compass, proud sponsor of today's bowl game. The United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines. And 5 Hour Energy, the no-wait, no-hassle way to a great morning.
Scenes from last night's pep rally. It's been a busy week for both teams here in Birmingham, and the hospitality, John, second to none.
It's been terrific here in Birmingham, and a lot of people excited about the football game, and a pretty good start. We've had a couple turnovers, but both offenses have been able to do what they like to do, get everybody involved, their playmakers, and move the football, but credit the defenses for coming up with 2 big turnovers.
Turnovers, bowl game, not uncommon, but like you said, both offenses playing well. Ray Graham in the backfield now for the Pitt Panthers. Deion Lewis looked good in the first possession. Tino Sinceri out of the shotgun. He was 3 for 3 until throwing the INT. Graham gets his first carry up over the 35-yard line to about the 36 or 7. He picks up 3 on the play. Ray Graham, keep in mind his first collegiate start, rushed for 277 yards.
Yeah, it was an amazing afternoon for Ray Graham. His second highest output in school history behind Tony Dorsett, who had 303. So Ray Graham knows how to pick him up and put him down.
2nd and 7 for the Panthers. Scoreless ball game. Pittsburgh comes in averaging about 26 points a game. Kentucky giving up 28.5. Sinceri swings it out again, and this one
that might be
a loose ball, free ball. And it's going to be a huge pickup by Kentucky, but he dropped it at the 10-yard line, and Kentucky's going to have it inside the 10-yard line. Randall Burden, who came up with the INT, also coming up with the fumble recovery.
Well, a big mistake by the Panthers. They tried to throw the football out on a swing pass to Ray Graham. It looked like it was a little bit of a delay in getting the football from quarterback to tailback, but a good job on the outside by Randall Burden getting on the football. He already has the interception. Now he's on the football on the fumble recovery. But let's take another look. Sinceri's going to drop back. He wants to throw the football a little bit earlier, and I'm not so sure that wasn't a forward pass. That looked like it was right down the line, but in any result, it looks like the Kentucky Wildcats are going to get the football. But it was a good decision by the quarterback, but the ball's on the back shoulder that needs to be out in front of Ray Graham for an easier catch. You always want to make it a lot easier on the tailbacks when you're throwing the football, and you know that Tino would have liked to put that football out in front, but it did not look like that ball was going backwards, Mike.
Well, John, Kentucky came in -4 in the turnover margin department, already with an INT, and now a fumble recovery, both by Burden.
Let's take a look at where the football is released. He's at least on the 29-yard line. It might be, yeah, it's very close. It hit him on the back shoulder. Take another look with another angle there. Tino's in the air about the 29-yard line. That ball might be just behind the 29. We're going to get to take another look at it. Sinceri back, and he's going to just drop the football out. I think now that I take another look at it, that ball may have gone about a half a yard behind. So that was a good call by the officials. Initially, I wasn't sure when he let the football go. It looked like it was right on the 29, but it is closer to the 28 than the 29-yard line.
We have an ACC officiating crew. Tom DeJoseph is our referee here this afternoon, as he awaits the call from upstairs as they take a look at the replay, looking for indisputable video evidence. So Ray Graham will get credit for a rush and a loss of 27 yards. That in itself is kind of a bizarre statistic, huh? Considering he never really had his hands on the football.
That's a huge loss for Ray Graham. We're going to try to take a look again. It looked like Sinceri threw the football around the 29-yard line, and the ball hit Ray Graham's back shoulder in between the 28 and the 29. Good job by Kentucky pursuing to the football. They did a nice job of getting those linebackers running to the football, and you can see right there, they're on it. There was no hesitation by anybody in a blue jersey. Let's try to see when this ball is right here, and it looks like the ball is let go at the 29-yard line, and now we're going to take a look at where it hits Graham on the back shoulder. There's the football right on the 29.
Yeah.
And the ball looks like it's in between the 28 and 29 where it hits the back shoulder.
So it's going to be a good call. Surprised if they overturn this, and it's going to be Kentucky football inside the 10-yard line. So the Kentucky Wildcats coming up with the INT and the fumble recovery. Randall Burden in his 26th consecutive start.
After further review, the ruling on the field is reversed. It is an incomplete pass. Third down. Please put 8:42 on the game clock.
Well, hey, I've been wrong before. This isn't the first time, but I just thought that ball was let go at the 29-yard line. Initially, it looked like it was pretty even, but when we took a couple looks at it, it looked like that Tino let this football go right at the 29-yard line right there, and the ball was back in between the 29 and the 28.
Either way, tough call, but I'm going to side with you.
Either way, it is a tough call, and a huge break for the Panthers to get the football back, because Joker Phillips in that offense was ready to go. He had his offense all set and ready to go to get instant field position, but now the defense will come back and face a 3rd and 7 for the Kentucky Wildcats.
Now, John, of course, they try to get it right, but looking at it, was that indisputable video evidence?
I didn't think so, but I guess the ACC crew did.
3rd and 7 for the Panthers now on the year, 42% on 3rd down. Sinceri, good coverage in the secondary, and he lofts it over, and it's going to be incomplete. That'll bring up a punting situation. You saw Mike Cruz break He tried to lift it over the defensive back, and it falls incomplete.
Good pressure in the pocket by the Wildcat front seven. Really flushed Sinceri to his left side. Tried to make a difficult throw to his tight end, Mike Cruz, who did the right thing, breaking on the scramble drill, but the ball behind him, and Kentucky comes back with a 3-and-out. Good defensive stand by the Wildcats.
Dan Hutchins led the Big East, 45.1 yards, 17 punts of at least 50 yards. And here's our first look now at Randall Cobb. And Hutchins does a nice job of keeping it out of the hands of number 18. And so the Kentucky Wildcats will have decent field position all the way up to the 28-yard line. 35-yard punt. We're going to take a timeout from Birmingham. Kentucky, Pittsburgh, still scoreless.
Team works in football and in banking. BBVA Compass, official sponsor of the BBVA Compass Bowl.
Many will hear the calling.
Move it! Yes, sir!
Few will earn the title, United States Marine. The few, the proud Marines.
I don't want to get up. I don't want to go to work. I hate mornings. Great, I have 20 minutes. No time for coffee. Hello, my friend.
Can't get it together in the morning? Try 5-Hour Energy. It's simple, effective, and unlike coffee, it's ready right now. No waiting, no hassle.
Let's do this.
5-Hour Energy, the no wait, no hassle way to a great morning.
Should I have all my policies with Nationwide Insurance? Bring in the parrots.
Home, auto, life.
You see, Jack, when your home, auto, and life insurance are with separate companies, they're just noisy, right? But when they work together... Beautiful. Nationwide Insurance can get your policies in sync and save you up to 25%. I didn't know they could sing like that. Hit it, fellas.
Nationwide is on your side.
Will Selva in studio. Number 13, Georgetown hosting West Virginia over on ESPN2. Both schools entering this one with a 1-2 record in the Big East. Got a 1-point game going. Now back to Mike and John. Guys.
Thanks, Will. We're still scoreless here in Birmingham. Kentucky and Pittsburgh. Phil Bennett, the acting head coach, the defensive coordinator, filling in for Dave Wanstead. Wanstead going 10-3 last year. Best year since 1981, John.
Well, Dave Wanstead, just a credit to the university and what he's tried to do with these Pittsburgh Panthers, the amount of talent that he's been able to bring in, and it's his leadership, it's his direction, and what he tried to accomplish as a player there and as a coach, coming back to his alma mater and bringing the pride and the passion that all Pittsburghers have inside of him. And he represented this school and still does to this day, at the highest level you could think of.
Well, Dave Wanstead saying earlier this week, or actually when he was forced to resign, that he's going to be a Pitt man. He's always been a Pitt man, and no one before him, after him, whoever coaches his football team will love the university as much as he does.
Well, you could tell by the way he was on the sidelines, the demeanor that when these guys came in, that he recruited these young kids, that he grew into young men. And it was a credit to meeting some of the players last night and walking around the hotel and being able to interact with them just to see what type of character that they possess.
And right now, his Pitt Panthers, he's been on the phone every day with Phil Bennett, still hoping that these kids pick up a victory in this ball game as Newton takes it, and he's up over the 30-yard line. Well, that was the first look at Cobb. He picks up 3 on the play. So Randall Cobb, we mentioned at the top of the show, needing 119 all-purpose yards to break the SEC single-season record set by Darren McFadden, and only 3 catches to pass Dickie Lyons Jr. for 5th on the all-time receiving list at Kentucky.
And Mike, that's a guy they need to get involved any way they can to get the football, whether it's Wildcat, him throwing the football, catching it, he needs to be involved.
2nd and 7. This is Newton now. Back to pass. He's 3 for 3. Make it 4 for 4. This one's complete. And it's Cobb up near the 50-yard line. So Randall Cobb pulls in his 80th catch of the season. Picks up 18 this time.
Yeah, Cobb did a nice job of coming across the field from left to right. A linebacker's going to be running with him. That's Max Gruder. He trips in the middle of the football field, and that's all number 18 needs to gain that separation. He's responsible for at least one score, either rushing, receiving, or passing in 11 of 12 of Kentucky's games this season.
And another first down out of the I formation now. Newton 4 for 4, 4 different receivers, looking for 5 for 5, and this one's almost picked up. For more on Randall Cobb, let's go downstairs and check in with Carol.
Well, guys, offensive coordinator Randy Sanders tells us that when Randall Cobb doesn't make a play, people are shocked. Why is he so valuable? It's the intangibles, his team presence. Those give him merit. Randy Sanders said he has never seen a young man play the game harder and with more heart than number 18 for Kentucky.
Kara, at the luncheon yesterday, we were joking that maybe we'll see a drop kick by Randall Cobb here this afternoon.
That's right, a little Doug Flutie.
Or maybe he'll pass it to himself, averaging 7.7 yards when he carries the ball, and you just saw him pick up his 80th reception of the year. And Cobb, the former quarterback, has thrown 3 touchdown passes. Newton takes it inside the 45-yard line. Joker Phillips saying during the August camp nobody could tackle Newton on the Kentucky team. They're hoping that Pittsburgh would fall.
Well, Mike, you can see why. He's just a big guy at 6'4", 235, and when he gets those legs going north and south, he's tough to wrap around and bring down to the ground. And, you know, if he can just throw the football for Joker Phillips today with some consistency, that'll add some balance to this offense. They get Cobb involved. They get Derek Locke. They've got the speed in the backfield and on the outside to make a difference.
Newton picked up 7 on the play, so it's a 3rd and 3. Newton again. He's got to get all the way down to about the 42. Didn't get it. Picked up 2 on the play. And as you can see, the yellow line there, he'll be about a yard shy.
And this is always good in a bowl game to see what head coaches and what they like to do in gambling, because Joker Phillips knows it's a 4th down and short, and they've been able to go for a number of 4th downs on the season, 25 in total, and they've been successful 16 times. So I would look for Kentucky to load up the offense with their big quarterback and go for it here on 4th down.
That's amazing, isn't it? 25?
It is. He didn't get Joker for anything. He's a gambler on the sideline.
You'd think that'd lead the SEC. 64% on 4th down. Newton trying to turn the corner. He's going to get it. Gets to the 40-yard line before he's finally chased out of bounds.
Well, there's the big stiff arm by Newton on the outside. Looked like Ricky Gary was going to come up and get a tackle for a loss, but there's the size intangible. The stiff arm right there on Gary's helmet was able to get enough time and enough room, separation on the outside. That's just a big, strong, tough quarterback making a play on 4th down.
Now, the governor of Alabama has declared today Cam Newton Day here in the state of Alabama. And right now, Morgan Newton moving the chains for the Kentucky Wildcats. Still has not thrown an incompleted ball until that pass, which was deflected at the line of scrimmage by Aaron Donald. Donald, the true freshman from Penn Hills. And I'm glad you brought that up earlier, because we have not seen the defensive lineup yet for Pittsburgh, but they're missing Jabal Sheard, the Big East Defensive Player of the Year. They're missing Miles Carrageen. That's, of their 30 sacks, that's 11 sacks. But so far, the defensive front holding up pretty well.
Yeah, it's a big challenge for Pittsburgh up front. Their front 7 is going to have to try to put pressure without the player in the Big East, the Defensive Player of the Year on the outside, number 97, Jabal Sheard. He's on the sidelines with that. He had elbow surgery a couple weeks ago.
Well, Newton, the young quarterback, wants to call a timeout. That's the first of the ball game. That'll leave Kentucky with 2 remaining here in the first half. Still in the first quarter, 5:24. We'll step away here from Legion Field. Kentucky and Pittsburgh scoreless, but the Wildcats on the move.
ESPN The Weekend, March 3rd through the 6th. Visit ESPNTheWeekend.com.
Every day you check the weather, check the time, check the news online, check the wife, check the kids, check your email messages, check the money in the bank, check the gas in the tank, check the flavor from your shirt, make sure your pits don't stink, check the new hairdo, check the mic 1, 2, cause I'm about to drop some knowledge right on top of you. You check a lot of things already, why not add one more that can help your situation for sure? Check your credit score, free credit FreeCreditScore.com. Free credit score. You won't regret it at all. Check the legal, y'all.
Offer applies with enrollment and Triple Advantage.
For voice to help your business connect, communicate, and collaborate with your world in your way. Unlike other providers, we make it easy to switch with no upfront costs and an instant credit up to $5,000. You'll enjoy ongoing savings with communication solutions designed to help your business increase productivity and reduce costs. And with our state-of-the-art traditional and IP voice services, you get the quality, scalability, and features you want delivered on our 100% fiber optic network. Plus, our simple flat rate pricing means we'll fit your business needs and your budget. What other provider can do that? Switch your business to an Optimum Lightpath voice solution now. Get an instant credit up to $5,000 and monthly savings you can count on. Take advantage of this special offer. Call or visit us online today.
Back in Birmingham, Pittsburgh and Kentucky scoreless in the first. Now Monday night, ESPN delivers the marquee event of the college football season, the Tostitos BCS National Championship. Heisman Trophy winner Cameron Newton complete one of the greatest individual seasons to give Auburn their second national championship. While Oregon's dynamic offense led by running back LaMichael James run away with their first national title. Number 1 Auburn, number 2 Oregon in the Tostitos BCS National Championship on ESPN Monday night. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern. The game also available on ESPN Radio, online at ESPN3.com, on ESPN 3D, and on your phone. And you look at the SEC teams that have played in the BCS National Championship. There have been plenty, to say the least. You see Tennessee there. T. Martin was the quarterback of that Tennessee National Championship team. Now he's a member of Joker Phillips and the staff here. He's the receivers coach, and he has done wonders with the receivers Chris Matthews and Randall Cobb for that matter.
Yeah, just talking and reading the notes leading up to the game. Just a great job of working on their releases and knowing that these guys can take their game from the collegiate level and move it up to the next level.
2nd and 10 now. 8th play of the drive started way back on their own 28-yard line. Talk about balance. 41 yards rushing, 41 passing. And this one's complete over the middle. It's Locke, and Locke is all the way down inside the 25-yard line. 16 yards on the play.
Well, great design offensively by Kentucky. Watch the middle of the screen here. You're going to have Cobb that's going to run down the middle. He's going to take the linebacker with him, and then you're going to just see underneath coming the other way with the running back. This is just a great design by coming up, getting the middle occupied, and then coming right back to where Cobb replacing his line of scrimmage position.
4 wideouts now for the Wildcats, and they keep it on the ground. It's going to be Locke. He hits the middle of the line, gain of 1 possibly. You know, we talked about 41 yards rushing, 41 yards passing, John. Joker Phillips really big on balance. Listen to this. They wrapped up the regular season with 422 passes, 420 rushes. That is tight.
It's amazing that you can do that. And Joker Phillips, he's an offensive guy, a former receiver at Kentucky, played with me in Canada, in Toronto, just knows offense, and he's very disciplined about what he wants to do. And this offense, you can tell, really balanced today.
You see the numbers there, both Pittsburgh and Kentucky. Morgan Newton, one-time Gatorade Player of the Year, Mr. Football in Indiana, is going down. That's going to be the first sack, the 31st sack for the Pitt Panthers this year. And that is huge for Phil Bennett. As we take a look at the defensive front, we mentioned the fact that Jabal Sheard, he is out. He had 9 sacks. Miles Carrageen is out. So Justin Hargrove moves up. Tyler Tack moves up to take Carrageen's place. Brandon Lindsay led the team with 10 sacks. Linebackers, Williams, Gruder, and Roberts. And in the secondary, K'Wan Williams, a true freshman, gets his first start at one corner. Hawley and DeSico, both with 5 INTs. DeSico also number 1 with 85 tackles on the team. Loss of 9 on the last play. Four wideouts for Morgan over the middle, and this one is dropped. It should have been another completed ball, and Lo and behold, it was Randall Cobb who actually dropped the football.
Mike, you don't see that very often if you're a Kentucky fan, because that was a perfect throw by Morgan Newton. 3rd and long, you're just trying to get in field goal position, and that would have been the terrific drop down because Randall Cobb sat right in the zone, turn it up the field, and maybe get a little bit closer to a first down. But just a good job by Kentucky trying to get the football move, and now they bring in their field goal unit.
Craig McIntosh, the sophomore from Lexington. This will be a 50-yard kick. And he's got it. McIntosh came in 10 of 13 along the 50. Well, he matches his long for the first points here this afternoon.
And a nice drive by Joker Phillips' offense, moving down the football field, getting some adversity out of their way. A good stiff arm by Newton on 4th down, and a good job of cashing in to get the first 3 points of this football game.
So McIntosh, who played football only as a senior at Lexington Christian Academy, is now 2 for 3 from 50-plus. And the Kentucky Wildcats grab the first lead. It's been kind of a crazy game. They come in averaging 33 points. Both offenses looking very impressive, moving the ball, but turnovers huge so far.
Well, anytime you have a bowl game that is, January 8th, you move it down, you have some practice time. They've done a good job of driving the football, but it's finishing. It's the little things when you get down in that scoring zone that probably rear its ugly head, and just the lack of playing a football game, the lack of continuity on offense, and usually the defenses should have an advantage.
You mentioned Joker Phillips playing at Kentucky, and then he was her teammate in Toronto. No stranger to Legion Field. He played here twice for Kentucky in 83 and 84. They lost one and won one. But in fact, he finished number 5 on the all-time receiving list when he wrapped things up at Kentucky. 75 catches. That's a season now for good receivers.
Things have changed.
So after the 50-yard field goal, McIntosh tees it up to kick off. Joe Mansour, a true freshman from LaGrange, Georgia, had 15 touchbacks kicking for Joker Phillips, which was tied for the most in the SEC. But he lost his job to McIntosh because they say McIntosh is a better directional kicker if they want to keep it away from certain people. Graham at the 10-yard line. At the 20, 25, dropped at the 27-yard line. A return of 13 yards for Ray Graham. Avery Williamson making the hit on special teams for Kentucky. So Joker Phillips, 5 years as the offensive coordinator, now wrapping up his first season as the head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats. And making some changes as well, John, with his staff, actually some additions. You see the number, 75 receptions, 935, 9 touchdowns. Well, keep in mind that Randall Cobb had 79 catches coming in. Chris Matthews had 9 touchdowns this season coming in. We were joking about that at the luncheon yesterday, how the game has evolved. Deion Lewis bounces off the would-be tackler, breaks to the outside. He's up over the 30-yard line to about the 31, picked up 4 on the play. So Rick Minner, the former head coach at Cincinnati, now the co-defensive coordinator, sitting up in the booth. And down on the field will be Coach Brown, Steve Brown. A unique situation. Now they have 2 defensive coordinators.
Yeah, Steve Brown was the defensive coordinator for the season, and Coach Minner has come in and been able to participate in bowl practices with this defense. So both guys really getting involved and trying to share their philosophies defensively.
Deion Lewis. And he gets up over the 32, a short gain. Steve Brown, after spending 14 years in the National Football League, he was with Rich Brooks at Oregon. Now, his first of 3 years as defensive coordinator. 12 Wildcats have moved on to the NFL and play defense under Brown, but Brown is downstairs. Rick Minner, different type of coaching philosophy. Rick Minner's kind of in-your-face, an old-school coach. Big 3rd down play for Pittsburgh coming up right here. Shanahan in the slot in motion to the bottom of the screen. Sinceri bobbled the snap, and he still completes the pass up over the 40-yard line, and that's going to move the chains for Pittsburgh. Mike Shanahan, that's his first catch today. Gain of 12 on the play for Shanahan as we check in with Kara.
Well, guys, you were talking about Rick Minter, and linebacker Danny Trevathan was asked about the style differences between Minter and Brown, and Trevathan said that Minter just really gets after it. He's aggressive. He's enforcing a go-get-'em attitude, fly around the ball. Trevathan predicted more turnovers forced by Kentucky. We certainly saw some disruption in that first quarter.
No doubt about that, Kara. Thank you. Kentucky. You talk about Rick Minter at Cincinnati. What a coaching staff over the years he's had there at Cincinnati. Deion Lewis gets into Wildcat territory up over the 50-yard line. On his staff at different times, he had Mike Tomlin. He had John Harbaugh. Rex Ryan.
It's pretty good.
Joker Phillips.
Yeah.
Very impressive staff.
He does a great job defensively, and I like what Kara had to say, but the differences between Brown and Minter about more of in-your-face and a different style might be just a different message from a different person, and I think Joker Phillips just trying to get people on his staff that have quality and that can better this football team.
2nd and 4. And they're going to keep it on the ground again. A little spin by Deion Lewis. And he picks up a 1, possibly 2 on the play.
The last couple runs by Deion Lewis, you can see his elusiveness in between the tackles. Just a spin for 2 yards or a jump cut in the hole for 4 yards. He gets the most out of what he can do. And today he has 7 rushes for 37 yards. And now Pitt is faced with a 3rd and very short. So they're going to have to rely on this offensive line. And don't forget about Henry Hynoski out of the backfield in these types of situations.
3rd and 1. Lewis with 37 yards, needed 49 to pass Billy West, number 5 all-time at Pittsburgh. And that's going to do it for the first 15 minutes of the ball game. Tino Sunseri will be headed the other way when we come back in Birmingham. Kentucky up by 3.
Join Boomer and the gang for Sunday NFL Countdown, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
Ramada Worldwide. You do your thing, leave the rest to us. Ramada Worldwide. You do your thing, leave the rest to us. Now do your thing for less. Save 20%. Book now.
Auto.
Sir, finding everything okay?
I work for a different insurance company. My auto policy is just getting a little too expensive.
With Progressive, you get the Name Your Price tool. It helps you find the price that's right for you.
Oh, the price gun. I wish we had this. We just tell people what to pay.
Yeah, we're the only ones that do.
I love your insurance. Bill? Tom?
Hey, it's an office party.
The Name Your Price tool. Only from Progressive. Call or click today.
On Sunday, America's roughest terrain meets its toughest officers. Nat Geo steps inside the life of an Alaska state trooper.
This is the country up here where you need men like that.
Facing violent realities, deadly conditions, deadlier criminals.
We got you surrounded. Come on out.
In America's Last Frontier, extraordinary bravery comes with the territory. An all-new season of Alaska State Troopers premieres Sunday at 9 on Nat Geo.
Is that a new sweater? No. Haircut? No. Are you in love? No.
Did you get some work done?
No.
Something's different at Dunkin' Donuts, and it looks great on you. The delicious egg white breakfast sandwich, made with veggies and real turkey sausage. Lots of flavor, less than 300 calories. America runs on Dunkin'. Hurry into Dunkin' for a delicious egg white breakfast sandwich with less than 300 calories.
Oh, and I need you to sign these paychecks.
Sure.
Man, I've never seen this place so busy. Yeah, we washed like 30 Labradoodles this week, and there's a cat show in town. Sorry, hairball.
Wouldn't it be great to have a back office for your small business? With Intuit Payroll, you do. Now you can make payday effortless and keep the taxes straight. We do the legwork so you can do what you love. Intuit. Small business. Rejoice.
We're always looking for proof. The question is, what on earth would we do if we found it?
This was taken at an exorcism.
Just a very sick girl. Choosing not to believe in the devil won't protect you from him. 28th.
Welcome back to Birmingham. Both teams, Kentucky out of the SEC and Pittsburgh out of the Big East, arriving here in Birmingham for the BBVA Compass Bowl. Earlier in the week, both teams touring the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. And both teams got a little bowling in. The Pitt Panthers actually beating the Kentucky Wildcats at the bowling alley.
Yeah, this was the star of the show right there.
Future tailback or defensive back. And so Pittsburgh wins. They had some trivia during the comedy night and dinner. And the Pitt players were saying, hey, some of the questions that they were getting, we are an SEC country. They said, who's the all-time leading basketball scorer at Kentucky? They go, wait a minute. And questions that the players for Kentucky got were, who is the Heisman Trophy winner for the Pitt Panthers in 1976?
Right.
And the Pitt players were like, wait a minute now. That's not fair.
Well, it's great that John Calipari is the head coach of the basketball team at Kentucky. Everybody knows, but he was at Pitt when I was in school. So, a long time ago when Coach Cal was at the University of Pittsburgh as an assistant.
Well, it's a small world, huh? You mentioned you and Joker Phillips, teammates in Toronto, and he told me yesterday that you never threw him the ball. But
I told him he was never open.
He said he might have survived that last cut. You're throwing the ball once in a while.
You're right.
Okay.
He's a good receiver.
First play of the second quarter, the Panthers. Another third down situation, 3rd and 1. And they keep it on the ground. Bouncing to the outside is Dion Lewis. Fumble. And Pittsburgh says they have it. If they do, they should move the chains for the first down. Picked up 3 on the play. Needed 1, so that's going to be a first down for the Pitt Panthers, trailing by 3.
Anytime you're in a situation, Mike, when you get that short first down, 3rd and short, now you want to come back out and throw something down the field, but getting back to that jump cut in the hole, and there's Dion Lewis trying to fight for the first down. It's hard to pick him up behind that big line of scrimmage, but right now you want to see if you're going to go to Jonathan Baldwin with a little play action and give him a chance to come down with the football.
Sinceri, play action, picks up a lot of green in front of him, racing for the sideline to the 30-yard line, and he makes it. So Tino Sinceri using his legs that time. Another first down. He picks up 12 on the play. And keep in mind, Sal Sinceri coaching at Alabama, which is only 45 minutes away. So Tino's entire family here this afternoon.
That's right. And Tino showing you his athleticism. Both quarterbacks very elusive once they get outside of the pocket. And this time, no hesitation. That's the key from Tino. He tucked the football down, outran the defenders trying to track him down. And I think that's where he's taking ownership. He's maturing as a quarterback. Everybody has to remember this is his first season as the starter under center, and he's gotten better from that midpoint on.
8th play of the drive, Sinceri flips it out to the big tight end Cruz, and Cruz is all the way down to the 20-yard line. Mike Cruz, his 18th catch, picks up 10. Should be another first down, and the Panthers are on the move.
And a late flag came in there, Mike, from one of the officials right around the 29-yard line.
That's going to be the first flag that we've seen down on the field so far.
That was an athletic catch by the tight end, Mike Cruz. Never broke stride with the one-handed grab. The ball was a little bit behind him.
Flag on the play. First down.
So they picked up the flag, first down for the Pitt Panthers now, trailing by 3.
A nice job by Mike Cruz, just never breaking stride. Watch him reach back with the right arm and just say, I got it, no problem. And then he tucks the football underneath that right arm and gets the first down.
9th play of the drive now, started back at the 27. First meeting with an SEC school for the Pitt Panthers since 1983 when they beat Tennessee 13-3 in Knoxville. John Kangemi was the quarterback of that Pittsburgh team. There's Dion Lewis weaving his way through traffic down close to the 15-yard line now. Gain of 5 more. Lewis getting closer to becoming the number 5 all-time leading rusher here at Pittsburgh.
Well, you can see as they start using Dion Lewis a little bit more and a little bit more, he gets better with the game, and I think that's the type of runner he is. He did it in the season finale against Cincinnati. He just kept running the football, and everybody knew in the building who was going to get it, but that's the time when 28 starts to shine. He starts to get a little bit of a lather, and that offensive line starts taking control.
Lewis, 9 carries, 45 yards, dots the I, and gets the call. Finds the hole inside the 10-yard line before he's driven to the turf. Picked up 6 more, so that should push him past Billy West, number 5 all-time, just his second year.
Well, he's had a sensational 2 years as the Pitt running back, and he's just doing a terrific job today. Dion Lewis, 51 yards rushing, and you can see the Kentucky offense with 33. So he's done an excellent job, and that's exactly what the Pittsburgh Panthers wanted to do today. They wanted to establish the run, take a little pressure off the quarterback, and making plays down the field. So far, so good.
Sinceri turns, fires, looking for his tight end again, incomplete, overshoots him. And Randall Burden in coverage for Kentucky. Burden already with an interception and a fumble recovery in his 26th consecutive start for Kentucky.
When you throw the football against Kentucky, it's not as easy as it sounds getting inside the 20-yard line, because this is a defense that only allowed 13 touchdowns passing all season long. So it's a situation where the Panthers might be better off running the football down in the plus territory in the red zone, where they're at 80% on the season and 51% with touchdowns.
Yeah, those 13 touchdown passes they gave up, that's 5th best in the SEC. Lewis patiently waited for the hole to open, and then he continued to drive his legs. He's down to the 3-yard line. He picks up 6 more. Well, you talk about some of these great players at Pittsburgh. We mentioned Lewis, 62 yards shy of breaking LaShawn McCoy's 2-year rushing record at Pittsburgh. And you think of what Larry Fitzgerald did in just 2 years as a receiver at Pittsburgh, and boy, they've had some big-time players.
Well, they have, and it's a great history. It's a great tradition, and Dion Lewis is doing his part for Phil Bennett today, trying to get a win for the Panthers with Bennett in that head coaching capacity.
3 receivers now for Sinceri. The fade, looking for Baldwin, and it falls incomplete. Good coverage that time. Again, number 24, Randall Burden.
Burden's been the story so far for the Wildcats on defense. He had the early interception, the fumble recovery. He's the best cover corner. That's what Joker Phillips and I were talking about a couple days ago. He said, if they're going to throw the football, we want Randall Burden in coverage. He has a good job of using his hands on a bigger receiver. Baldwin goes 6'5", 230, so that's an excellent job on the edge.
This will be a 21-yard kick by Dan Hutchins. Keep in mind, he's missed 3 of his last 5 attempts. He has exactly 200 career points. If he hits this field goal, he'll climb to number 8 on the all-time scoring list, and he's got it. So a 50-yard field goal and a 21-yard field goal were deadlocked at 3-3. Pittsburgh and Kentucky with 11:29 to go in Birmingham.
Team works in football and in banking. BBVA Compass, official sponsor of the BBVA Compass Bowl.
This is Charlie, whose morning flight to London starts with arthritis pain and a choice. Take Tylenol now and maybe up to 8 in a day, or choose a leave and 2 pills for a day free of pain. Enjoy the flight.
Hey, boss, do we have Aflac?
Nah, we have something else.
But if you're hurt and miss work, does it pay cash like Aflac does?
Nah.
Or let you spend it any way you want, like for gas and groceries?
Nah.
Or help with everyday bills like Aflac does?
Nah.
There's Aflac and there's everything else. Visit Aflac.com for an agent or quote.
Aflac!
If it can do this, here, and it can do this, here, and it can also do this, here. Just imagine what it can do here.
It's Toyotathon. With over 30 years of great deals, everyone's going. You'll never know who you'll see.
Mark, Alex?
Buzzsaw.
Buzz what?
I'm Dan now. We're getting the band back together. You in?
I don't think,
You're not in.
I'm not in.
Our biggest event of the year ends soon. Hurry in today. Get 0% APR for 60 months on 9 Toyota models. Plus, when you finance Camry, get $750 in down payment assistance. Due to the blizzard of 2010, Toyotathon is extended through January 10th. Toyota.
ESPN College Football, the BBVA Compass Bowl, is brought to you by TaxSlayer.com, $9.95 for your federal tax return, and Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
Back in Birmingham, Alabama, we're all tied up at 3-3. Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator / head coach of the Pitt Panthers now, staying in close touch with Dave Wanstead back in Pittsburgh. Or actually, I think Dave went down to Florida.
Maybe, yeah, absolutely.
14 plays, 70 yards, 641, and Dan Hutchins nails it from 21 yards out. So we've seen a 50-yard field goal and a 21-yard field goal by these two teams, and now the Pitt Panthers are ready to kick off again to the Kentucky Wildcats. Locke and Cobb, the deep men for Kentucky. And this is going to be Cobb inside the 5-yard line. Up over the 20 to about the 22-yard line. As we check back in with the studio now, here's Will Selva. Will?
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Over on ESPN2, number 13, Georgetown hosting West Virginia. The Mountaineers have won 3 in a row at the Verizon Center. Right now, they're leading 63-59. Now back to Mike and John, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Will. Joker Phillips trying to wrap up his first season as the head coach with a victory here to go to 7-6. Again, we go back to Bear Bryant in 1946 to start 3-0. Joker Phillips started 3-0. And Joker, the first Kentucky coach to go bowling in his initial year. Nice hole, good patience by Locke that time, John. Picks up 7 on the play, and he just kind of waited for that hole to open up.
Mike, that's a perfect call because it was all about patience. If he had rushed that run to the line of scrimmage, there was nothing there. But Derek Locke has the ability to sit back at 5'9", 190. He hits top speed about 3 steps into it, so he can have the will, the patience to sit back, and then when he sees that daylight, he goes north and south.
Locke had 100 yards his first 4 games of the season, and as I mentioned, he missed 4 games because of injuries. Newton turns, fires, and this one goes incomplete. And the intended receiver that time, Anthony Kendrick. We're inside the historic Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama for the BBVA Compass Bowl between Kentucky and Pittsburgh, along with John Congemi and Akira Capuano. I'm Mike Gleason. As always, great to have you with us here on ESPN. SEC against the Big East. Last year, Randy Edsall and UConn came in here and beat South Carolina. Actually, the Big East has had a lot of success in this bowl game. I think they're 4-0 all time.
Yeah, they've done a good job coming into Birmingham and winning, and now Morgan Newton on 3rd and short needs to pick up a nice play here to keep this drive alive and get some momentum back on that Kentucky sideline.
Newton swings it out, and coming out of the backfield is Locke. You talk about a young man with 4.21 speed. They say he's a great runner, but probably better coming out of the backfield catching balls.
Well, he must be great in space, and we've seen signs of that today early in this football game, because if you can get it close to Derek Locke, and if you get him in stride, he can run away from linebackers because they just don't have the foot speed to keep up with Derek Locke. And you mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, this offense was missed when he was out. He was injured against Auburn, missed 4 football games, and when he came back, this offense came back to balance in passing and running.
Another first down. They keep it on the ground, and moving up close to the 40-yard line, a 3-yard gain. ESPN's coverage of bowl season continues Sunday night with the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl. Colin Kaepernick and the 15th-ranked Nevada Wolfpack take on Boston College and its rugged defense, led by linebacker Luke Kuechly. So the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl on ESPN Sunday at 9 Eastern. The game also available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone. And John, how about Kuechly, huh? 171 tackles, just a sophomore out of Cincinnati St. Xavier High School.
Amazing.
Newton. And this one's going to fall incomplete. Chris Matthews, the 6'5", 220-pound receiver, the intended receiver, and the penalty flag down. Matthews was covered by Ricky Gary.
Pass interference. Defense, number 26, 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
There's no doubt they got tangled up, but I'd like to see if that was a catchable ball, John. It looked like it sailed a little bit on Newton.
Well, it did sail. It wasn't a pretty pass, but it was close enough. There was contact around the waist by Ricky Gary trying to get it to Chris Matthews on the outside. It was close enough to be a catchable football, and Gary just had some infighting. He didn't need to do that. He just needed to play the football, but it looked like he lost his balance trying to go up against a big receiver on the outside.
Raymond Sanders now number 4 in the backfield for Kentucky for the first time today. Morgan Newton's going down. That's the second sack. And this is Chaz Alexi picks up his first sack of the afternoon. Alexi, his first sack now of the day. 7.5 sacks for Alexi. So keep in mind, Pitt fans, that tuning into this broadcast, Jabal Sheard, he's not playing. Miles Karajine's not playing. That's 11 sacks out of 30, John. But Alexi coming up big time on that play.
Well, good pressure in the pocket. It forced Newton to get lateral and get outside. And a good job by the Pitt defensive front seven of pressuring the pocket. And without Jabal Sheard, as we take a look at him on the sideline, somebody else has to make plays for the Panthers.
A loss of 8 on the play. 2nd and 18. They set up the screen. Sanders and nowhere to go. Boy, he was hit and hit hard by Dom DeSico. Let's check in with Kara.
Well, guys, Jabal Sheard wants more than anything to be playing in this game, but he was having elbow issues that he needed to get corrected in time to wow and dazzle the scouts at the NFL Combine. He actually told interim head coach Phil Bennett at the pep rally last night, "Gosh, coach, I feel like I made a mistake having that surgery and missing this game." He really wants to play.
Yeah, he was crushed, Kara. All-American, Defensive Player of the Year in the Big East. 4th Pitt player in the last 5 years to be named an All-American. 3rd and 19. Long way to go for Newton. He might get there. Oh, he's going to be close, John. Great run. I think he's going to be just like a half a yard shy.
We get to see the athletic ability of Cam Newton. It was a great block in front of him on the outside by Anthony Kendrick, the tight end. But Newton did a great job of being elusive. Morgan Newton, we talked about him in the opening of this football game. He can throw from the pocket, but when he has a chance to get that motor running, get those legs going, he can extend plays, and he did a great job of following the blocking. You'd like to have seen him go north and south at the end just to make sure he got the first down. And Mike, he might be just shy. They're stretching out the chains now. He's just shy. That was a good call, Mike. He's probably about a link or two shy of the first down.
3rd and 19. He comes up a link or two shy, and keep in mind that they're going to go for it, because on 4th down, Joker Phillips said that's what he does. Had to get to the yellow line, and according to that video right there, unofficial, he got there. But of course, the spots that he got, and then they measured. They're coming back to measure it again. It is so close.
Well, just a great effort by Newton just to move the football, to have an opportunity to go for it on 4th down. We talked about the Kentucky offense coming into this football game. They were 16 of 25 attempts of getting the first down on 4th down, so on conversion. So they've done a nice job. They've already done it once in this football game today. They will do it again here on 4th and very short.
Can you get any closer than that?
I don't think so.
Here we go. Joker Phillips going for it on 4th down for the 27th time this year.
Well, I don't know if he moved the pile. He may have lost a yard.
He hesitated, looked for an opening. Now, Newton is 6'4", 235 pounds. Nate Nix was there along with Greg Williams.
Yeah, but what you're looking for that offensive line, Mike, to do is get a little bit of a push. It looked like there was nowhere for Morgan Newton to move the football. They're not even going to measure this. They're giving it right back to the Panthers.
What a stop for Phil Bennett. 4th and inches. And the Pitt Panthers take it over. Newton, 6'4", 235. Stopped. Jabal Sheard, the Defensive Player of the Year, not playing, but he is delighted with that defensive play.
I practically stole this house. This beautiful chandelier was $1,200 retail. I picked it up for $350. This exotic rug, picked it up at a flea market for 10% its value. My tax software that was charging me $79, traded it in to taxslayer.com. $9.95, and it handles even my stock sales and itemized deductions. So how do I spend my money?
Catherine, ready to work out?
Show me the shimmy.
I'm Dale Jr. Remember to file your taxes fast with TaxSlayer.com.
Proud to stand on our own, proud to be homegrown. Can you hear it? Fueling the American spirit. No matter when, no matter where, Marathon will take you there.
Are you ready for your talk, sir?
Just going over how Geico helps people save in even more ways. With good driver discounts, multi-car discounts, defensive driver discounts.
You! Oh, don't act like you don't recognize me. Toledo? 03?
No, it's...
It's too late, Stanley.
Actually, miss, my name's not Stanley.
Oh. Oh, I am so sorry. From behind you look just like him. I'm just...
Well, I'd hate to be Stanley.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15%.
$15.99 doesn't get you much at other restaurants. But at Dave & Buster's, $15.99 gets you the Eat and Play combo. Get a $10 game card and your choice of 8 delicious entrees. Why just eat when you can eat and play at Dave & Buster's?
Hey, Smart, we can stay here for the conference. I'm a member of this hotel's loyalty program.
Well, how far away is it?
Okay, we take a train 40 miles to a dude ranch where we pick up a couple of horses that we ride to a nearby river. Then we canoe upstream to a helicopter that takes us to the conference.
Or we could book with Hotels.com and stay closer. See, with welcome rewards, no matter where you accumulate 10 nights, you get a free one.
Huh, smarter.
Accumulate 10 nights and get a night free. Welcome rewards from Hotels.com. Smart. So smart.
Phil Bennett getting a defensive stand, 4th and inches for the Kentucky Wildcats. They did not get it, and now Pittsburgh will have the football. The Panthers 5-2 in the Big East, tying for the championship. Randy Edsall at UConn also went 5-2, as did Bill Stewart at West Virginia. You look at that graphic, you have to scratch your head. All coaches gone. Edsall gone to Maryland, Dave Wanstead forced to resign at Pittsburgh, and Bill Stewart, well, at the end of 2011, he'll hand it over to Dana Holgerson.
Well, it's a tough profession. It's amazing that all three of the guys that share for the Big East title, Randy Edsall moving on, as you said, to Maryland, and Bill Stewart has the coach in waiting behind him. One more season at the helm for the Mountaineers, and Dave Wanstead watching at home right now in Florida. So it's a situation where 3 quality coaches, a couple of them moving on, a couple of them in waiting with 1 season remaining, and then Dave Wanstead, who's done an excellent job. You talked about the All-Americans at Pitt over the last couple of seasons. He's done a great job in recruiting and getting this team to where it is now.
Wanstead 9-4, 10-3, and this year tied for the championship, and then you're forced to resign, and they're going for the home run ball with Baldwin, and he comes up with it. Boy, that football hung up there, John. They're going to call it an incomplete ball. 40-yard gain. And now there seems to be some discussion. They're coming back towards the line of scrimmage.
Well, that's what you want to do with John Baldwin on the outside. He's 6'5", 230 pounds, and if you can just put it close, get him in a jump ball situation, you think he'd be able to come down with it. He just bobbles the football, doesn't control it to the ground, but this is the type of play that he can make moving on to the next level if he decides to go pro. He just could not hang on to the football there. But you would think he was anticipating getting the shot. He had the football clearly, but he just bobbled it and juggled it onto the ground.
Usually he holds on to those. There's Ray Graham now. Following his blocking, shy of the 45-yard line. Danny Trevathan runs him out of bounds. Trevathan, a linebacker for Kentucky. 130 tackles, number 1 in the SEC. 8 consecutive games he's been in double figures as far as tackling people.
Well, co-defensive coordinator Steve Brown said that he's the best player on defense that we have. He's fast. He's a special type of player. He's one of those twitch guys that can move from sideline to sideline, and he diagnoses plays very quickly so he can get his nose on the football. He's the guy most of the time when you say, where's the football? Just look for 22. He's going to be around it.
Danny Trevathan. Not real big, 6'1", 223, but boy, he runs well. And really, he covers a lot of ground east to west. 7 minutes and 10 seconds to go before halftime here in Birmingham. We're going to step away. We're still deadlocked, 3-3.
ESPN The Weekend, March 3rd through the 6th. Visit ESPNTheWeekend.com.
Even in the most uncertain times, there are some things we know for sure. There will still be weddings, still be babies, and still be bright futures. That's why New York Life has been helping families plan for the expected
and unexpected for 165 years. Backed by the highest ratings for financial strength, we're safe and secure, so you can be too. Give your family the gift of a secure financial future. New York Life, the company you keep.
When he tries to trap you, you counter. You drill it.
I can't do this.
It's always worse right now.
Until it isn't.
Did you hear me? I said it's all.
And there's no fight.
So help me God. This is boxing. We're gonna do whatever we have to do, all right?
We have a life.
This was always part of it.
No more.
The closer you get to the ring, all this other crap is gonna fade away, because you're going home.
Lights Out series premiere, Tuesday at 10, only on FX.
If it can do this, here, and it can do this, here, and it can also do this, here. Just imagine what it can do, here.
Kentucky Wildcats against the Pitt Panthers. This complement of EA Sports. Boy, I thought they'd be doing some roughing each other up.
They both got rhythm, that's for sure.
They got rhythm. I thought they'd be clawing at each other. 3-3. A defensive struggle with 7:10 to go before halftime. And John, I wasn't sure what was going to happen with the Dave Wannstedt thing as far as the focus with this Pitt football team, but I did not expect a 3-3 ball game right now.
No, I didn't. And Sinceri's doing a nice job of moving the offense. Now he has a 3rd and 5 to go, so a 3-3 ball game for his head coach Phil Bennett on the sidelines. And it's been managed quite well on both sides of the football, defensively and offensively. I thought both teams really relying on what they do best.
Panthers 2 for 4 on 3rd down. Sinceri out of the shotgun. A lot of green again. Inside Wildcat territory.
That should be
that's going to be a penalty
15-yarder there.
He goes down hard. That's Ronnie Sneed, the middle linebacker, after the 12-yard gain. So Sinceri obviously headed for the sidelines, got there, and just crossed over, and Sneed still gave him a shove.
Yeah, unnecessary on the sidelines. It looked like Sinceri had plenty of room, and he's just going to go ahead and go out of bounds. Sneed hit him about a yard and a half or 2 yards out of bounds.
Personal foul. 46 on the defense. 15 yards. First down.
Sneed, the 6'2", 233-pound junior out of Tallahassee. First penalty on Kentucky, however, this afternoon. Wildcats coming in, giving up 28.5 points a game, and Pittsburgh still looking for that first offensive touchdown.
Well, that gives them instant field position for the Panthers down on the Kentucky 32-yard line, and you'd like to see another opportunity to go outside to Jonathan Baldwin and give him an opportunity to go one-on-one on the outside for a jump ball pass.
Manowski in motion. Graham gets the call, and he spins, still on his feet, and he's down to about the 28-yard line, picks up 3 on the play. DeQuinn Evans making the stop defensively for Kentucky.
When we talk about the running game, and when you talk about Kentucky, it's Derek Locke with the speed and that quick burst. But when you talk about the Panthers, they have a 1-2 punch. We saw a heavy dose of Dion Lewis early in this football game. In between the tackles, the jump cutting. Ray Graham's a different style of runner. He's a better pass receiver. I'm not sure if he can block as efficiently picking up blitzes, but he's the game breaker. If he gets a crease, you can get him between the tackles and he can go the distance, and you can also spread him out and throw the football to him.
Dion Lewis closing out the regular season against Cincinnati with 261 rushing yards. Splitting time here. Oh, wow. Penalty flags dropped. Pinkston. This is going to get interesting now because Sinceri took a very, very late hit. Ridge Wilson came up. Knocked Sinceri down, hitting him below the knees, and Jason Pinkston just came back to protect his quarterback. There were penalty flags dropped. Prior to that, you heard the whistles down on the field. And Phil Bennett not happy with that hit on his quarterback, Tino Sinceri, by Ridge Wilson. So Sinceri taking back-to-back hits. First by Ronnie Sneed, pushing him out of bounds. Now this time Ridge Wilson. It's a good thing Sinceri was okay, John, because you, as a former quarterback, when he got hit, the way his knee bent.
The way he came down on the ground, the whistle was clearly blown. It looked like it was blown right here, but no one really stopped wearing blue, and the hit was on the leg. So Pinkston comes back, and just after the hit, the personal foul on the sidelines, and then you got some pushing and shoving, and everybody's going to get involved. So it's a situation now. Pinkston lost his helmet, and Wilson did a great job of not retaliating when he had the helmet in his hand. But a lot of pushing and shoving going on after the hit. But the initial hit, the way it was done around the knees, you hate to do that, and that's why the offensive tackle Pinkston came back to try to help his quarterback out.
You know, it's amazing, John, what you see with a replay, though, that you don't see live, because if he did not hear the whistle, he was just coming hard on the quarterback. There's the whistle. Yeah.
There are multiple fouls on the play. False start. Offense. That foul will be enforced. We have personal fouls on multiple players on both teams. Dead ball. They will offset. Second down.
You know what I was thinking, John? Jabal Sheard's gone. Karajine's gone. Hartline's gone. I was thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to get 6 or 7 guys kicked out of this football game.
You hope it wouldn't escalate this. You're right, Mike. You hope it wouldn't escalate to something like that. But, you know, players on Kentucky, to their credit, they did not hear the whistle. But the way he was tackled on the ground when he kind of gave up in the pocket, that's what ignited Pinkston to come back and protect his quarterback. And the play before that, when he was hit out of bounds in the 15-yarder, was assessed against Kentucky. So the 5-yard penalty will be assessed against Pittsburgh, and no personal fouls, because definitely they threw one on Pinkston, and someone else in a blue jersey got one as well.
No doubt about that. Inside 6 minutes now. Pittsburgh trying to drive down and score the game's first touchdown.
Well, now you just hope everything settles down and everybody plays football, because the crowd's into it. It's actually a nice environment now. When you break the huddle, you've got some good energy in the building.
The crowd's into it. The players are into it. And we get back to playing football at 2nd and 12 now for Pittsburgh. Sinceri swings it out. Plenty of room for Graham inside the 30. Spins all the way down shy of the 20-yard line. Nice play by Pittsburgh. Good call by Angelico that time.
Very nice call. And we talked about the difference between these two running backs. Dion Lewis running the football. Ray Graham can run it and catch it out of the backfield. That time, nobody around the swing pass, and Graham made a nice job and a good spin move, but a good decision by Sinceri. Look downfield, hold the linebackers, drop it off to your tailback on the outside. A good block on the outside as well by Jordan Gibbs that allowed Ray Graham to get the first down.
Graham thought he'd bounce to the outside, cuts it back inside the 20-yard line. So Dion Lewis rushing for 1,799 yards last year. And there you see Ray Graham, 349 this year. Over 1,000 and 878. So,
well, it's tough to match what Dion Lewis did in year 1 in 2009, but you're happy to see Ray Graham come back and really provide this offense with something it didn't have, the 1-2 punch from last season. And he did a nice job, and they complement each other perfectly. Good friends on and off the field, and they do a good job of providing the running attack for the Panthers.
Sinceri working with 3 receivers, and they're going to keep it on the ground, and nowhere to go. Trying to get down to the 15-yard line is Devin Street. The redshirt freshman from Pennsylvania. Winston Guy comes up and makes the hit.
Winston Guy did an excellent job on the edge, and you can see the team speed from Kentucky sideline to sideline. That play was stretched from the right side of the football field on the Devin Street run to the left side. And look at Kentucky, the blue jerseys running inside out. And a good job by Randall Burton, who's played an excellent game to this point, holding the edge on the block on John Baldwin, making the runner Devin Street turn upfield into coverage.
8th play of the drive started at the 37. Graham stays in the backfield with Hanoski. Play action. Sinceri over the middle, looking for Graham, trying to sneak over the middle, and it falls incomplete. You know, Johnny, you surprised at Graham. I mean, Graham had a great year, but Phil Bennett was telling us that he's going to ride the hot guy, and Dion Lewis was running pretty well, so I'm kind of surprised we're seeing both guys.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see Dion Lewis back in the football game soon, and that was a pretty good series by Graham, and what they wanted to do, they ran a little bit of a different offense trying to spread out Kentucky, and that's why they were trying to get Graham out on pass receptions out on the edge.
Dan Hutchins, he's been good from 21. This will be a 33-yarder for the lead. And it's good. So Dan Hutchins supplying 6 points now for Phil Bennett and the Pitt Panthers. And Pittsburgh takes the 6-3 lead now here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Second quarter, 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go. 2 field goals for Pittsburgh, 1 for Kentucky.
Team works in football and in banking. BBVA Compass, official sponsor of the BBVA Compass Bowl.
Can we turn the AC up? I'm dying back here.
It's on. Can't you feel it?
Can you feel that?
Oh.
Jeff, eat a Snickers, please.
Why?
Every time you get hungry, you turn into a diva. Just eat it so we can all coexist.
Turn into a diva.
Put it in your system, break your pants.
Okay.
Thank you. Better?
Better.
Will you get your knees out of the back of my seat?
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
Chili's wild or mild entrees are dinner's answer to dull. Dig deep into our bold honey chipotle crispers, or say a big hello to our new sweet maple barbecue. Meaty all-white chicken with huge maple barbecue flavor. For limited time, only at Chili's.
Walk right in, sit right down. Baby, let your hair hang down. Walk right in, sit right down. Text Cave to Whale for a chance to win an Insignia home theater system. Great clips.
How does vanishing deductible work?
That boulder is like your insurance deductible. Big and always hanging over your head. But Vanishing Deductible from Nationwide Insurance takes $100 off your deductible every year you're a safe driver until...
Amazing! You saved me.
Oh, it was just an analogy, but you're welcome. You're welcome. Oh. Nationwide is on your side. That's very good.
Back in Birmingham, Alabama at the BBVA Compass Bowl, and we talked about bowling and the comedy shop, but it's more than just having fun. Both teams, Kentucky and Pittsburgh, making the stop at the Children's Hospital, and meant so much for these young kids.
It's a great thing for the athletes as well to come back and see the children put a smile on their faces, and it's just so meaningful for a student athlete to go back in and give back to kids, because you remember when you were a kid and you wanted to put a smile on someone's face, and just a great job by both of these universities taking part in that.
You know, John, both teams making a trip, and I'm told Pittsburgh made a separate trip with their injured players. It was like an all-star. They had Greg Romius, Jabal Shear, Dan Mason.
Pretty good
like
team.
All-star team.
Yeah. Well, this is what you have to worry about right now, and what you're hoping for Kentucky is to get the football in their playmakers' hands. And Randall Cobb on special teams, you want to be able to have a dynamic player, number 18, wearing a blue jersey. If he gets this football, take a look. If you're a Panther fan, you have to watch and see what 18 can do on special teams.
Kevin Harper with the kick. Cobb inside the 5-yard line. Cobb finds a crease over the 30, still on his feet, 40, dropped at the 42. Cobb with 1 touchdown on a kickoff return this year. Picks up 38 that time. Good field position for the Kentucky Wildcats. Finally dropped by Andrew Taglianetti, the redshirt sophomore out of Pittsburgh.
Well, that's the guy that can change the complexion of a football game.
After the play, unnecessary roughness. 33 of the receiving team. 15 yards, first down.
Wow, that actually goes against Kentucky. Josh Gibbs gets the call. So the Kentucky Wildcats, seemed like just a few minutes ago we said they just had 1 penalty. Now the penalty flag's starting to pile up.
Well, wipes out instant field position still at the 30-yard line. So Morgan Newton and company can set up shop there, but a bad decision at the end of the play. You just...
Wildcats go back to work. Completed ball. And they're back up over the 40-yard line as Randall Cobb on the receiving end. Let's check back into the studio with Will Selma.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Coming up on the H&R Block halftime report, we'll be joined by Robert Smith. Sports Science takes an extraordinary look at Cam Newton's vision. We also preview the BCS national title game. We also look ahead to the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl in San Francisco between BC and Nevada, plus Big East highlights in college hoops. That's all coming up. See you then, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Will. Back here in Birmingham. Newton goes back to work, and Newton's going down. So the Pittsburgh defensive front is still playing pretty tough. That's a third sack, and that's Justin Hargrove picking up his first sack of the season.
So Chaz Alexi and Justin Hargrove, guys like that have to pick up the slack from Jabal Sheard. We talked about Sheard on the sidelines with an elbow injury, had surgery. He made up 9 sacks on the season, and Hargrove does a nice job of pushing the pocket that time on first down.
Out of the shotgun, this one's incomplete. And it goes through the fingertips of LeRon King, the sophomore out of Radcliffe, Kentucky. King with 1 catch so far here this afternoon. Should have been 2 right there. You know, John, earlier we were talking about Joker Phillips and balance. The fact that he had 422 passing plays versus 420. Last year, I was reading, before Mike Hartline went down with the injuries, they were averaging 167.4 yards a run and 167.4 yards a pass. How do you do that?
It's tough to do, but on third down, Mike, you have to take a look at the running back out of the backfield. They love to go to him here.
4 receivers and good coverage. That time at number 55, Max Glitter, the middle linebacker. Intended receiver was Randall Cobb.
Well, after having instant field position on that kick return, it was negated by a penalty. Newton goes 3 and out, and it's just good coverage and good ball skills shown on the inside by Max Gruder. That ball was in the perfect spot, but Gruder was able to get that left hand on the football and bat it away, and he'll get the football back to the Pitt offense.
Ryan Tidlochka, the junior from Louisville Trinity High School, back to punt. Inside his 30-yard line. Cam Sadler standing back at the 20. This one's blocked. And it's going to be picked up and rolled inside the 10-yard line. Andrew Taglianetti, who made the tackle on Cobb on that kickoff return, gets the block as well.
Andrew Taglianetti did a great job. He's now healthy, and it looked like the Kentucky punting unit was moving away from Taglianetti, but Colby Gray's on the football for the Panthers, but just an excellent job of Taglianetti getting the football off of the foot. You always hear about coaches, don't dive up, dive out. And that's exactly what happened, and a good job by Colby Gray getting on the football. So now it looked like Kentucky was going to have instant field position on their possession. The Panthers, 1st and 10 or 1st and goal at the 10-yard line.
2 young players, Taglianetti, a redshirt sophomore, Gray, a redshirt freshman out of Houston, Texas. And Dion Lewis back on the field now in the backfield for the Pitt Panthers. 3 sacks, a forced turnover. So the defense, they've come to play. And Lewis inside the 5, dropped at about the 2-yard line. Picks up 8 on the play. Let's take another look at this one now.
Taglianetti's going to come untouched from the top of your screen. He gets the football off of the foot, and that's a great job by Colby Gray getting on it. But Taglianetti, who's been fighting health issues all season long, now he's 100%, and you can see why he's such a force, not only on defense, but on special teams.
Great job with the angle, huh? He wasn't even close to the foot.
No.
Got all ball out of the I formation now. 2nd and goal for the Pitt Panthers. Lewis finds the hole, dives. Did he get in? No indication yet. It's going to be 3rd and goal. Looks like he's inside the 1-yard line. Before that carry, he had 65 yards rushing. Again, last year in the bowl game, the victory against North Carolina, he finished with 159 yards rushing, and it was the game's MVP. And He was awfully close, John.
Yeah, just short of the goal line, and on back-to-back plays, Henry Hynoski, the fullback, doing an excellent job of trying to get his running back, Dion Lewis, in the end zone. So now Tino Sinceri and the Panthers knocking at the door, 3rd and goal from about 1 inch.
Sinceri, the quarterback sneak, and he's in. Further touchdown. First touchdown of the afternoon. And the second rushing touchdown for Tino Sinceri this year.
And Panther fans celebrate, all set up by Andrew Taglianetti. A nice job on special teams that allows their quarterback, Tino Sinceri, to go in from inside the 1-yard line. So Pitt takes advantage of the big play on special teams to turn it into 6 points.
Let's say he didn't make that. Does Phil Bennett go for the touchdown there or take the points?
Absolutely.
Hudson's on for the point extra. And the extra point is up, and it's true. And the Pitt Panthers strike first as far as touchdowns. And they take a 13-3 lead now. So there's the block by Taglianetti. And it's capped off by the touchdown by Tino Sinceri. 13-3, Panthers on top.
What if blue is more than a color? What if it empowers people to pursue their dreams? With breakthrough discoveries in research, healthcare, and technology, the University of Kentucky is reaching out beyond the boundaries of our state to impact our nation and even the world. Because blue isn't just our school's color, it's the color of opportunity.
Student honors include 3 Rhodes Scholars in the past 5 years.
Hail to knowledge.
Faculty distinctions include top 5 ranking in biomedical research.
Hail to discovery.
Consistently ranked overall as one of America's strongest public research universities.
Hail to excellence.
Recognized as a home to happy students.
Hail to Pitt.
Back in Birmingham, the scoring was started off by Craig McIntosh with a 50-yard field goal. Now the Pitt Panthers with 13 unanswered points to take the 13-3 lead. Kevin Harper, the sophomore out of Mentor, drills it. And this is Cobb again, back at the 5-yard line. Again, Cobb works his way to the sideline, gets up over the 30-yard line, a 26-yard return. ESPN, the home court of college hoops. College basketball coverage continues Tuesday night. 3 games on 2 ESPN networks. First at 7 Eastern on ESPNU. Terrence Jones and Kentucky take on the Auburn Tigers, while Wisconsin takes on number 19 Michigan State in a Big Ten battle on ESPN at 7 Eastern. Then at 9 Eastern on ESPN, the Florida Gators take on the Tennessee Volunteers. College basketball on ESPNU and ESPN on Tuesday. Florida 11-3. They take on Ole Miss 12-3 with the SEC opener tonight. Tennessee taking on Arkansas. They're playing that one this afternoon. Down to the final 28 seconds, and Newton gets drilled at about the 32-yard line. A gain of 3, and Williams coming over. K'Wan Williams, a true freshman from Patterson, New York, really laid the wood.
Well, Phil Bennett, when he was talking about his young cornerback who got his first start today against the Wildcats, he said he's a natural at corner. He has great feet, great hips, but on that time he packed a punch. Only 5'10", 175, taking down a much bigger Morgan Newton at 6'4", 235. So he did a nice job of securing the edge.
So that's going to be the final play of the first half here from Birmingham, Alabama. We see the key plays, the block punt, the big stop on 4th down. It was 4th and inches, and of course the fumble recovery. So Phil Bennett filling in for Dave Wanstead, who was forced to resign on December 7th, have a 13-3 lead. Let's check in with Carol.
Coach, I was specifically watching you when Lewis scored the touchdown. Rather stoic reaction. What is your reaction to this first half?
Well, you know, we're up 13-3, so we're happy about that. But I think we can play better. You know, we've had some missed opportunities on offense, and we're very I'm uneasy on defense with our tackling. You know, we've got to do a better job of our tackling. We gave them too many third down plays, which is disturbing.
Why do you think this team can play better? What's been the reason for that?
Our expectancy is high. You know, we don't coach for normalcy. We coach to excel. and it's no different.
We look forward to that in the second half. Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, Kara, a week from now, Phil Bennett will be the defensive coordinator at Baylor, but right now he has the lead as the head coach of the Pitt Panthers. So Pittsburgh erases a 3-0 deficit, scoring 13 unanswered points, 13-3. Panthers on top of the Kentucky Wildcats. Let's join Will Selva, Robert Smith in the studio for the H&R Block Halftime Report.
Hey, Mike, thank you very much. Welcome into the college football studios. Will Selva, Robert Smith with you. And Robert, coming in, much of the talk was about how Pitt will respond to the fact that it has been a tumultuous couple of weeks. Dave Wanstead decides he doesn't want to coach the bowl game. Instead, Phil Bennett steps in. How do you think they responded in this first half?
Well, I think pretty well, especially considering the number of injuries that they've had on this team. Dan Mason is injured, Jabal Sheard, Greg Romeo. So you've got a lot of guys out defensively. And don't forget, I mean, last year, this was one of the top defenses in the country. So you lose all those guys. You have all the adversity around the program. They've done a very good job, I think, of fighting through it. And you never can tell. You never can tell with bowl games anyway. That's why bowl mania is so hard to pick. But you never can tell if a team's going to be demoralized or they're going to be motivated by the loss of their head coach.
What does Kentucky have to do in the second half?
Well, I think, offensively, Morgan Newton's done a pretty good job of managing that offense, but I think they're going to need more big plays. They're going to need to protect the football as well. When you play a team like Pittsburgh, they're ball hawking. You need to make sure any gains that you get, you don't lose those or turn the ball over. You got to capitalize on any type of gain you can.
If Pitt holds on, it will certainly give the Big East a winning record in the postseason. Still to come here on the H&R Block Halftime Reports. We're mere days away from the BCS National Title game. Sports Science examines Cam Newton's extraordinary vision. That's ahead. Stay with us.
This Halftime Report is presented by H&R Block. Never settle for less.
Ramada Worldwide. You do your thing, leave the rest to us. Ramada Worldwide. You do your thing, leave the rest to us. Now do your thing for less. Save 20%. Book now.
As a kid, I couldn't wait to skate on that ice. What was I thinking? But I was still skating on thin ice with my cholesterol. Anyone with high cholesterol may be at increased risk of heart attack. Diet and exercise weren't enough for me. I stopped kidding myself. I've been eating healthier, exercising more, and now I'm also taking Lipitor. If you've been kidding yourself about high cholesterol, stop. Lipitor is a cholesterol-lowering medication, FDA approved to reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke in patients who have heart disease or risk factors for heart disease. Lipitor is backed by over 18 years of research.
Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. You need simple blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor if you are taking other medications or if you have any muscle pain or weakness. This may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect.
Let's go! If you have high cholesterol, you may be at increased risk of heart attack and stroke. Don't kid yourself. Talk to your doctor about your risk and about Lipitor.
Sunday, college football comes to the city by the bay. The 12-1 Nevada Wolfpack face the Boston College Eagles in the inaugural Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl. Kraft Foods and its iconic brands such as Oreo, Kraft Singles, Maxwell House, Kraft Mac and Cheese, and Oscar Mayer are proud sponsors of the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl.
An amazing comeback by the Wolfpack.
Nevada versus Boston College, Sunday at 9 Eastern on ESPN.
Are you ready for your talk, sir?
Just going over how Geico helps people save in even more ways. With good driver discounts, multi-car discounts, defensive driver discounts.
You! Oh, don't act like you don't recognize me. Toledo? 03?
No, it's...
It's too late, Stanley.
Actually, miss, but my name's not Stanley.
Oh. Oh, I am so sorry. From behind you look just like him. I'm just...
Well, I'd hate to be Stanley.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15%.
Welcome back to the H&R Block Halftime Report.
Alabama Governor Bob Riley declaring today Cam Newton Day. It's in recognition of what Newton has done on the field and off of it with kids. If Auburn beats Oregon in the BCS national title game, well, Newton may be running for governor. Sports Science takes a look at the Heisman Trophy winner.
Welcome back to the BBVA Compass Bowl in Birmingham, Alabama. Halftime score 13-3. The Pitt Panthers scoring 13 unanswered points against the Kentucky Wildcats. Along with former Pitt quarterback John Congemi, I'm Mike Gleason, and you talk about all the offensive weapons. It's been a defensive battle.
It really has. Both teams turning it over on their opening possessions, but after that, it looked like the team settled in. Dion Lewis for Pittsburgh, 66 yards on the ground. He was very proficient running in between the tackles. And then Locke on the other side, the running back for Kentucky. I thought the Kentucky Wildcats need to get the ball to him in space more in the second half because that's a mismatch against the Pitt linebackers.
Neither quarterback has thrown for 100 yards. Randall Cobb has 2 catches. John Baldwin just 1. A little bit surprising.
A little surprising, but both teams offensively still trying to find themselves in this football game. A long layoff, so offenses are always going to be behind the defenses, and I thought the defenses have done a nice job turning up the heat.
See, 106 yards rushing for Pittsburgh. That is a bright spot because overall, you see the passing yards to 67 and 72 for Kentucky. As we take a look at Randall Cobb now. One bright spot for Kentucky fans. He did pass Derek McFadden by 1 yard, and he set the new SEC single-season all-purpose record. The old record was 2,310 all-purpose yards by Darren McFadden of Arkansas. The Kentucky Wildcats won the toss before the game. They deferred, and they will get the football to open up this second half. Kevin Harper, the sophomore, Mentor, Ohio, and the second half is underway. This time it's going to be Locke inside the 10-yard line. Locke puts his head down up to 25, gets up to the 25. Let's take a look at the game track brought to you by Nationwide.
Well, a little bit of a sloppy start for the Panthers after moving the football. Randon Burton comes down with the interception, but then Kentucky gives it right back. A nice forced fumble on the defensive side. Lindsey forces the fumble right to Max Gruder, and then Dion Lewis got on track. 66 yards on the ground. A nice average for the Panthers, who would like to run the football, but the game was turned around on a blocked punt by Andrew Taglianetti, his 5th block punt of his young career.
And back to live action. They keep it on the ground. Locke up over the 35-yard line. Probably the bright spot offensively, John. Derek Locke, 4 carries for 39 in the first half, and receiving 3 catches for 28. He picks up 5 on that play.
Mike, for the little use that Derek Locke has had in the first half, I really like his potential in the second half. He creates a dynamic mismatch against the Panthers' defensive secondary and linebackers. You need to get him in space.
Newton back to pass, fires. Nice job of laying that one in there. Again, LeRod King on the receiving end for Kentucky. Nice job. Looked like he just took enough off the ball to lay it in.
Well, I like what Kentucky's doing offensively. They're starting to get a little bit more up-tempo in the first couple of plays, trying to get in and out of the huddle and get their quarterback, Morgan Newton, on fire to start the second half.
Working out of the I formation, and they keep it on the ground. Locke tries to break to the outside, and he almost gets there. Dragged down from behind at the 25-yard line. Greg Williams making the tackle. Let's check in with Kara.
Well, guys, I talked to head coach Joker Phillips, and he says he feels like the Wildcats have weathered the storm of the emotions of playing in a bowl game. They need to play a physical second half. On offense specifically, John, like you said, get the athletes in space. Stop giving Pittsburgh the ball, and, to quote him, take the fight to them.
All right, thanks a lot, Kara. Right now, they have the football, trying to take that fight. They're in the wild Cobb. And Cobb hits that middle of the line up over the 45-yard line. Max Gruder makes the tackle. A gain of 2. Joker Phillips, as we told you at the top of the broadcast, played twice here at Legion Field, his final collegiate game. He picked up a victory here And now here he's back coaching the Kentucky Wildcats, his first year as the head coach.
He's done an excellent job of preparing his team to get ready for this second half. I like the adjustments that he had spoke to Kara about. Let's see what he does on third down here, whether he can get it to his playmakers on the outside.
Newton fires, and this one's almost picked off. Dom DeSico had it and just could not find the handle. Dom DeSico with 12 career INTs. And boy, that had to be like slow motion, huh? He was looking for number 13.
Absolutely. Went right through the hands of the potential receiver in Cobb. It hit him twice, 3 times. And usually Dom DeSico, very sure-handed, 5 interceptions on the season. He's the guy that's responsible to get everybody lined up on defense. He's been stellar all season long. He'd love to have that one back.
Didlachka punting inside the 35-yard line. It's going to be a fake, and it's not going to work. And this one's almost picked off. Matt Rourke was trying to throw the football, and he almost threw it right to a Pitt Panther.
And it looked like it was Colby Gray again, the person that picked up the first block punt, had the pressure on the would-be passer. Andrew Taglianetti had a tip on the ball as well, so it was a terrific job by the Panthers of not falling for the fake, and now they have instant field position on the Kentucky side of the 50-yard line.
And you talk about Big Mo. Pittsburgh running off the field that time, John. They had a little extra pep in their step.
Well, Kentucky tries to change the tempo and the momentum of the game early, but the Panthers were on to it. That's just a terrific job in the back of the special teams by Colby Gray.
There's a whistle, and there's going to be a timeout on the field before the snap.
Previous play is under review.
I'm not sure what they want to see, John. The ACC officiating crew want to look at something. Want to know if his knee was down back before he threw the incompleted ball, which
that's
of course would give him better field position.
Mike, that's the only thing you could think of, because it was an incomplete pass. It wasn't an interception. Was his knee down before he was getting rid of the football? That would give the Panthers probably 10 to 15 yards on the possession. Let's take another look. The fake happened right around the 35-yard line. It was Matt Rourke back, and his knee is down. So that's what they're going to review, and that ball should be placed right around the 35-yard line for the Panthers. So they're going to gain probably around 12 yards on the play.
But you know what? I'm not going to say a word.
I'm not going to go there. I was pretty on it, I thought, on the first quarter, but my toe's a little chilly to get in the water again.
I thought you had it by half a yard in the first quarter. So we'll await the call from the replay official, an ACC officiating crew. That's Tom DeJoseph, the referee.
Well, this will give Tino Sinceri and his offense instant field position. You can see the fake there, and then back at the 35-yard line, this is where the knee's going to go down, so the Panthers should gain field position of about 12 yards from the 48 to the 35.
There's Matt Rourke throwing the ball. Colby Gray almost had the INT. But again, knee definitely looked like it was down before he released the football. It's been a crazy game here in Birmingham. A beautiful sunny day. A little bit chilly, but both teams moving it back in the first quarter. Both teams turning it over on their first possession. 50-yard field goal. A couple of field goals by Dan Hutchins, and then a blocked punt by Andrew Taglianetti set up a Tino Sinceri touchdown. It's 13-3. That's where we stand. Here comes the call.
After further review, the passer's knee touched the ground at the 35-yard line before he released the pass. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line.
Wow, right now the ball is spotted at about the 47, so they move it all the way up to the 35. Another good break for the Pitt Panthers.
Yeah, very good break for the Panthers, and unfortunately for Kentucky, weren't able to move the football on their first drive of the second half, and now they put their defense on a short field. So we've talked about playmakers on defense. Randall Burden on the outside, Danny Trevathan on the inside. Somebody's going to have to come up with a stop or a big play to cause a turnover here and change the momentum on the Kentucky sideline.
Well, Phil Bennett and the Panthers getting a free first down, so to speak. And so they work from the 35-yard line out of the I formation. And they keep it on the ground. This is Ray Graham. And Graham is pulled down at about the 33. Had some running room, but dragged down after a 2-yard gain.
And Mike, I'm a little surprised that Ray Graham starts the second half just because of the way Dion played in the first half. I thought they'd give a heavy dose of him in the second, but you don't lose anything with Ray Graham. You just have to make sure that he knows that second and third effort to protect the football in this situation.
Danny Trevathan, the SEC leader in tackles, made the stop. That's 5 tackles for him. Keep in mind, 8 straight games with double-figure tackles. And again, it's on the ground. This time he's got some running room. Graham inside the 15. He spins down to the 12-yard line. Randall Burton finally drags him down. A 21-yard gain for Ray Graham.
An explosive run on the outside. Lucas Nix up front, the right guard, really propels Ray Graham to the second level, does a great job of getting in and around and locking up with Danny Trevathan, the big play linebacker for Kentucky, and a nice cut to the outside. Good vision by Ray Graham inside out and protect, 2 hands on the football. It's a big thing with Ray Graham, protection after the first contact.
1st and 10, Graham again. Not too much running room that time. He's swarmed under. Shane McCord making the initial contact for the Kentucky Wildcats. And that'll bring up a second down. The ball was resting just outside the 10-yard line, so they can pick up a first down at about the 12.
And this is what we talked about with the two-headed monster at running back, Lewis and Graham. Lewis 13 rushes for 66 yards and Graham 7 for 34, right at the 100-yard mark, and a great average right at 5 yards per carry.
Panthers' first possession of the second half. Play action, Sinceri. Got rid of it, and it's a touchdown for Pittsburgh.
Let's go! Mike, when you want a touchdown, you look for Brock DeSico. That's only his second reception, his second touchdown on the season. He goes up and over Winston Guy, and a nice throw by Tino Sinceri on the play action. Held the football as long as he could, gave his big tight end an opportunity to go up and catch the football at its highest point. 2 receptions on the season, 2 touchdowns for DeSico.
That's why I hesitated. I saw the 8, and I thought Mike Shanahan had another touchdown, but DeSico on the receiving end of another Sinceri touchdown, and Hutchins on for the extra point, which is good. And Pittsburgh now scoring on the last 4 possessions. 2 field goals and now 2 touchdowns. Sinceri with the quarterback sneak, and now Sinceri with another scoring strike.
Team works in football and in banking. BBVA Compass, official sponsor of the BBVA Compass Bowl.
You know what a mechanic is?
A hitman. There's no one better than you, you know.
I want to know what you know. Follow me. Some jobs need to look like accidents. Nice. Others send a clear message.
The Mechanic, rated R, starts January 28th.
Taco Bell's new 99-cent Beefy Crunch Burrito. Lots of beefy, add some cheesy, and pile on the crunchy with Flamin' Hot Fritos chips. That's right. It's a deal worth crunching about.
Nationwide Insurance. I'm all ears.
I bought my policy online, and I haven't heard from the company since.
When Pam switches to Nationwide Insurance, we're not going to treat her like Policy 413. We're going to treat her like Pam. Get to know her. Be proactive. Oh, and rename the company Nation Pam.
Oh.
Done. Nation Pam is on yours, Sam. We'll make that work.
There are over 400,000 NCAA student athletes.
and just about all of us will be going pro in something other than sports.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Phil Bennett coming over to congratulate Brock DeSico after his second touchdown reception of the season. 20-3 now. Pitt on top of the Kentucky Wildcats. 35 yards in 4 plays in a minute 52. So you go back and you look at that timeline again. Dave Wanstead, after going 7-5 this year, forced to resign on December 7th. Mike Haywood out of Miami of Ohio hired the 16th. Haywood arrested in South Bend, Indiana on domestic battery charge on the 31st. And then less than 24 hours later, he was fired. And then Phil Bennett was named the interim head coach, or the acting head coach, just on January 3rd, when Dave Wanstead decided that if he showed up here, the focus would be on him and not his kids, so he thought he'd be a distraction. And you see Hayward there pled not guilty to that domestic battery charge. And Phil Bennett now, one of the top defensive coordinators in all of America, headed for Baylor on top 20-3.
Mike, it's a situation where, I think Phil Bennett did a great job of preparing this team, but Dave Wanstead prepared this team up until New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and then he's been in constant contact with his former defensive coordinator. So they're playing for both of these guys. They want to put on a pretty good performance in this bowl game.
Right now, Derek Locke trying to put on a good performance on the kickoff receiving team up over the 25-yard line. A return of 27 yards for Derek Locke. So you look at the changes in the past 30 days. At the top of the broadcast, I said a tumultuous 30 days, to say the least. Dave Wanstead was undecided if he'd be the head coach of this bowl game, and Phil Bennett becomes the acting head coach. Frank Cignetti moved on to Rutgers, as did Jeff Hafley. And Brian Angelico, the tight ends coach, now calling the plays as the offensive coordinator here this afternoon. Newton going upstairs, looking and overshooting the intended receiver, LaRod King. And Dave Wanstead, I said he was undecided if he wanted to coach, also undecided if he's going to take that position within the Pittsburgh Athletic Department.
Well, it's a pretty good indication of what Dave Wanstead was able to put together with this coaching staff, because Phil Bennett is going to be the defensive coordinator. Frank Cignetti, offensive coordinator at Rutgers. Brian Angelico, who knows where he's going to go. Jeff Hafley already at Rutgers. 2 guys are going to Maryland to join Randy Edsall. So it's a situation where this staff, people know what Pitt had in this coaching staff, and you can see that they're well respected around the country.
Locke again. Now this is Sanders at the 31-yard line, dragged down. So Raymond Sanders getting some carries here after a gain of 4 for Kentucky. The Wildcats averaging 33 points a game, now stuck on 3 today. They've been slow starters this year. They're outscored 90-78 in the first quarter, dead even in the second, but strong finishers, John. And they're going to need a strong finish now, trailing 20-3.
Probably the most important play of the game for Kentucky right now. 3rd and medium, but they have to get some momentum offensively. They have to possess the football in this drive.
4 wideouts now for Kentucky. 2 of 7 on 3rd down so far today. And they swing it out, and it's Locke. He's got some wheels, but he's dragged down shy of the first down line. Dom DeSico, a gain of 3. And he dragged him down. I was looking for a penalty flag because a potential horse collar.
Yeah, that might have been called on the sideline. You saw the Kentucky coaching staff and players react to it, but you have to give credit to Dom DeSico, because this is not an easy chore with Derek Locke trying to track him down. It looked like he just got the back of the jersey, Mike, not on the collar, just a handful of blue jersey, but that's a good play in the open field by Dom DeSico. It's a tough situation trying to get down Locke, and that's exactly what the matchup Kentucky was looking for.
Didlotchka now back at his 20. There's some movement up front by the Kentucky Wildcats, so that's going to push him back 5 yards further. Penalty goes against Anthony Mosley.
Offense, number 57, 5 yards. Repeat, 4th down.
It was actually number 14 who jumped, Anthony Mosley.
4th down, 7 yards to go with the penalty again.
And so Cam Sadler, the deep man, will move up to the 30-yard line now for the Pitt Panthers. Sadler averaging 10.7 yards per return, number 2 in the Big East in the 2010 season. Dijlotka at about the 20. Sadler takes it at the 20. And he's hit by a host of blue jerseys at the 25-yard line. Leading the way, J.J. Hilton. A 50-yard punt, a 6-yard return, and that Pittsburgh defense.
Dom DeSico, first team All Big East. He makes the sure tackle on the edge.
Dale, next time by. Next time by.
10-4.
What are you doing down there?
Filing my tax return.
We don't have time for that.
I'm already done.
Do what the guys who know a little bit about speed and efficiency do. Log on to TaxSlayer.com.
TaxSlayer.com supports our active duty military by providing a free tax return.
Sunday, college football comes to the city by the bay. The 12-1 Nevada Wolfpack face the Boston College Eagles in the inaugural Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl. Kraft Foods and its iconic brands such as Oreo, Kraft Singles, Maxwell House, Kraft Mac and Cheese, and Oscar Mayer are proud sponsors of the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl.
An amazing comeback by the Wolfpack.
Nevada versus Boston College, Sunday at 9 Eastern on ESPN.
It's Toyotathon. With over 30 years of great deals, everyone's going. You'll never know who you'll see.
Mark. Alex?
Buzzsaw.
Buzz what?
I'm Dan now.
We're getting the band back together. You in?
I don't think,
You're not in.
I'm not in.
Our biggest event of the year ends soon. Hurry in today.
Get 0% APR for 60 months on 9 Toyota models. Plus, when you finance Camry, get $750 in down payment assistance. Due to the blizzard of 2010, Toyotathon is extended through January 10th. Toyota.
If it can do this, here, and it can do this, here, and it can also do this, here. Just imagine what it can do, here.
ESPN College Football, the BBVA Compass Bowl, is brought to you by TaxSlayer.com, $9.95 for your federal tax return. And Discover, it pays to discover, official card of the Bowl Championship Series.
We're looking at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute, located in the Civil Rights District, which includes the historic 16th Street Baptist Church and Kelly Ingram Park. Back inside the historic Legion Field to talk about history. I was talking with Joker Phillips yesterday about the fact that Sam the Bam Cunningham came in here in 1970 and rolled all over the Crimson Tide of Alabama. And then Bear Bryant, that was the last all-white team he had at Alabama, and decided it's time to start recruiting African Americans. And it was a big, big step in the SEC, Joker said. And Joker Phillips, the second African American coach in the SEC conference, and right now it trails 20-3. Deion Lewis spinning ahead for more yardage. He picks up 6 on the play.
Mike, you can see the contrast in both of these backs in Deion Lewis and Ray Graham. Graham had the last series. You saw the explosiveness on the outside. This time, Deion Lewis just subtle spins and jump cuts inside the tackles to propel him forward and going north and south. He's a dynamic player.
Picked up 7 on the play. 2nd and 3 now out of the I formation. Pittsburgh with 135 yards rushing so far, up over the 30-yard line. Let's head back to the studio right now with Will Selva.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. A couple of college basketball games of interest. Kansas State and Oklahoma State over on ESPN2. K-State riding a 3-game losing streak. Plus Baylor and Texas Tech over on ESPNU. That's an 8-point game with 10.5 to go in the first half. Now back to Mike and John.
All right, thanks a lot, Will. And you mentioned Baylor, and we mentioned Phil Bennett is headed to Baylor as the defensive coordinator right after this ball game. Another 3rd down situation, 3rd and 3 for the Pitt Panthers. Sinceri comes out firing, and it's complete. That's Devin Street, the redshirt freshman, on the receiving end. You know, John, we talk about the fact that Sinceri is 65%. Rick Minner, one of the co-defensive coordinators, for Kentucky, saying that well-coached quarterbacks are high-percentage quarterbacks. Frank Cignetti has to like the sound of that.
Well, I think so, and because Tino has grown into this position, and Kentucky did a great job there with going 3 and out defensively to get the football back. When you talk about Sinceri, he's grown into the position, and everybody has to remember this is his first year on the job. So from the middle of the season on, you could see his progression and his confidence grow.
Hutchins. Cobb awaits inside the 25, and he's going down just over the 25-yard line. 43-yard punt, a 4-yard return. A good job of keeping him under containment. Nate Nix with the tackle. 23, Panthers on top.
Team works in football and in banking. BBVA Compass, official sponsor of the BBVA Compass Bowl.
And now I'll turn it over to the Gecko.
Thank you, sir. As we all know, Geico has been saving people money on RV, camper and trailer insurance, as well as motorcycle insurance. Sorry. Technical difficulties.
What about this?
What's this one do? Maybe that one.
Okay, let's keep rolling. We run motorcycle insurance?
Take 15 minutes to see how much you could save on motorcycle, RV, and camper insurance.
$15.99 doesn't get you much at other restaurants. But at Dave & Buster's, $15.99 gets you the Eat and Play combo. Get a $10 game card and your choice of 8 delicious entrees. Why just eat when you can eat and play at Dave & Buster's?
Proud to stand on our own. Proud to be homegrown. Can you hear it? Fueling the American spirit. No matter when, no matter where, Arizona will take you there.
Hey, it's the national championship, baby.
This is gonna be awesome. A new Sony HD TV.
Mark me.
That's me.
Wasn't this room a lot smaller before?
Yeah, I modified it a bit. Totally worth it.
The Tostitos PCS National Championship game on January 10th at 8:30 on ESPN. Also available on ESPN 3D. Watch it on a Sony.
ESPN The Weekend, March 3rd through the 6th. Visit ESPNTheWeekend.com.
Back inside Legion Field in Birmingham, the Kentucky Wildcats now looking at a 20-3 deficit. Monday night, ESPN delivers the marquee event of the college football season, the Tostitos BCS National Championship. #1 Auburn against #2 Oregon. They go at it on ESPN Monday night. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern. The game also available on ESPN Radio, online at ESPN3.com, on ESPN 3D, and on your phone. And you look at this football game, Heisman Trophy winners winning national championships. There's Tony Dorsett back in 1976 for the Pitt Panthers. Mark Ingram from Alabama in 2009. And Cam Newton winning the Heisman Trophy. And John Congemi, you look at Cam Newton, Michael James, Darren Thomas. You combine all their touchdowns in that football game. That's 97 touchdowns.
They've got a ton of offense. I just want to see who's going to show up and play defense, because that's who's going to win the game.
Now the Pittsburgh defense playing without 2 of their top defensive linemen, doing a pretty good job against a pretty good offensive team, the Kentucky Wildcats, who incidentally are playing without their starting quarterback, Mike Hartline. Locke gets the call. Greg Williams with the tackle after a 5-yard gain.
And that's a huge loss. You mentioned Mike Hartline. Morgan Newton in the football game start to finish so far for Kentucky. But Mike Hartline, he threw for over 3,000 yards, 23 touchdowns. He was averaging over 260 yards per game. So that's a big chunk of that offense that's gone today in Birmingham.
Again, it's Locke, and he's met by number 38, Greg Williams, again. So back-to-back tackles by Williams. No gain on the play. See Mike Hartline, number 2 in the SEC passing the football this year.
And as you said earlier in the broadcast, between Mike and Morgan, it was a tight race in summer practice and leading up to the fall football schedule. But Mike was able to retain that position, gain his confidence, and got better. And he's a huge guy at 6'6", 210, and can make every throw on the football field.
3rd and 5, Locke with 8 carries, 49 yards now. Newton working out of the shotgun. Turns, fires, that's Locke. Out of the flat, Locke is going to pick up the first down, and he's all the way up to the 40-yard line. Penalty flag dropped at the 44 after a 12-yard gain.
And that was a late flag, and I know that Joker Phillips is halfway on the football field, not happy with the call. That came from deep in the secondary, and it looked like a nice design play to get Derek Locke outside, and it was good blocking out in front by Matt Rourke, the wide receiver, but it's all going to come back.
Holding on the offense. Number 3, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat the down.
Joker Phillips on the year. They average about 5.5 penalties a game. Only 45 yards, which isn't terribly egregious. It pushes them back. You know, Randy Sanders, the offensive coordinator, saying last year when Newton dropped back to pass, there was a good chance one of the bands would be playing. Had to hold your breath. That's not the case anymore. They're going to have to start getting the football into Cobb's hands, and Chris Matthews, a big-time receiver. Matthews with one catch. Here's Cobb now. He's got some running room, and he's going to be tripped up just over the 45-yard line. And Andrew Taglianetti makes the tackle, and he was building up some steam very quickly.
Well, you hit on a key point, Mike. I think you have to get the football to Randall Cobb and Derek Locke in this second half, because in space, these are the guys that can create a mismatch, especially underneath in the coverage against the linebacking core of the Panthers. You can see it's a very easy throw right in front of you, good throwing lanes, and put that football out in front, and you're going to outrace guys underneath. So you have to get Cobb and you have to get Locke more involved.
Well, Cobb picked up 19 on that play. And Locke, he's got some burner. No, this is Sanders again. Sanders over the inside the 45-yard line. Raymond Sanders, a true freshman from Stone Mountain, Georgia. And there's a Panther down on the field after the 9-yard gain. Penalty flag dropped, and that's Ricky Gary, the fifth-year senior cornerback, who's making his 23rd start as a Pitt Panther. Here's the call by Tom DeJoseph.
They have offsetting dead ball fouls. 38, Pitt, 8, Blue. They offset.
38, Greg Williams for Pittsburgh. Number 8 for Kentucky is Chris Matthews. And the man down again is Ricky Gary, the fifth-year senior for the Pitt Panthers.
Second down.
Let's take another look on the edge. Gary on the outside here at the bottom of your screen. Like his leg just got caught underneath when he was making the tackle on Raymond Sanders. There's the pushing and shoving after the play to the left. Those penalties will go negate each other. And a good gain by Raymond Sanders on first down. But Pitt's going to have a little bit of a deficiency in the secondary because Antoine Reed, who is still recovering from a concussion, did not play. That allowed K'Wan Williams to get his first start. Now Ricky Gary coming out of the football game.
So really Pittsburgh playing really shorthanded defensively here today. Hit that middle of the line. And a big third down play. So Cobb, as we mentioned, set the all-time SEC or the single-season SEC record late in the first half. He actually got that record in the first half by 1 yard, breaking Darren McFadden's single-season record. That's number 16. That's LaRod King. But we really haven't seen a lot of Chris Matthews, 6'5", 219-pounder out of Los Angeles. Came in with 57 catches, 9 touchdowns, which was tied for the SEC lead with Alshon Jeffrey of South Carolina and Denarius Moore of Tennessee. Newton. There's Cobb. Good coverage. And K'Wan Williams, the true freshman, really squared up and made a nice tackle. Open field tackle.
Mike, that's a great job in open field by a young cornerback. K'Wan Williams has a huge challenge to go out on the outside against Randall Cobb. That's just a quick now play or a quick hitch play to the outside. Get your best athlete the football in space, but a better job by Williams making that open field tackle.
See the numbers on Cobb. He comes in averaging about 182 yards, all-purpose yards per game, which is number 1 in the SEC. Newton. as they run from the get-go. He gets down inside the 35-yard line. Again, keep in mind, Newton only has thrown 7 passes coming into the ball game. 4 for 7, just 54 yards. There's a lot on his shoulders. Now, last year he was supposed to take the redshirt season. Hartline got banged up, so he kind of threw off the redshirt, but went 5-3 with some big road victories last year.
Well, a nice call there on the quarterback draw, because he was able to use his legs against the blitz coming off the edge. Both safeties coming down, dead man coverage, and the big quarterback Newton's able to get that frame to move the chains.
True sophomore out of the shotgun, comes up firing, and this one's incomplete. Headed receiver Anthony Kendrick. Now, ESPN's coverage of bowl season continues Sunday night with the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl. It's Colin Kaepernick in Nevada against Boston College and that outstanding sophomore linebacker Luke Kuechly. The Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl on ESPN Sunday at 9 Eastern. The game is also available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone. So you have Kuechly with 171 tackles, Nevada averaging 42 points a game. And Kaepernick, 20 rushing touchdowns, 20 passing touchdowns. That's going to be offense versus defense. 10th play of the drive started way back at the 26-yard line, taking 4 minutes and 22 seconds off the clock. This one's complete. Top of your screen. Nice move by Cobb to avoid the tackle, and Randall Cobb now is starting to move the chains, just as John Congemi said they had to do.
Well, Phil Bennett, the Pitt interim head coach, talked to Kara going to the locker room saying we have to do a better job of tackling in space, getting out on the edge. That time, Randall Cobb was able to slip out of an arm tackle and get about 7 or 8 more yards than the play deserved. So a good individual effort by Randall Cobb, and it gets his quarterback into a 3rd and short situation.
And the Cats will be working from the I formation. Little pitch. Here's Locke. And Locke gets down to the 20-yard line. That's going to move the chains. Another first down for Kentucky, a gain of 6 yards. 5'9", 190 pounds out of Hugo, Oklahoma. Always wanted to be a Sooner. They weren't interested.
Well, they're getting a little bit of momentum on the offensive side, are the Wildcats. A nice job using their speed to get to the edge. When we talked about Derek Locke, he's a guy that can pick him up and put him down for head coach Joker Phillips. So they're getting it to Cobb, they're getting it to Locke, and Morgan Newton looks a little bit more comfortable in this 3rd quarter.
Locke averaging 5.6 yards every time he touches the ball so far. Newton fires all alone, and it should have been a touchdown for Kentucky. Matt Rourke had it, dropped it. I think Rourke says, I'm not sure how I got so wide open.
Well, Rourke was definitely behind the coverage. I'm not sure if the sun played a factor in this or not, because this should have been an easy pitch and catch. Yeah. You can see maybe the sun may have got right in his eyes. He was behind Dom DeSico, and I don't think he had a clear look at that football. I think he was battling the sun and battling the elements on the outside, but that was an easy touchdown for Kentucky.
And he comes in averaging over 14 yards a carry. It's tough when that sun's in your eyes. He'll be thinking about that for the rest of the afternoon, though. 3rd drop for Kentucky. There we go, the reverse. And there he is, Cobb inside the 5, close to the touchdown. He's not going to get in. And we knew the deeper we went into the ball game, we'd see more and more of number 18.
Well, you have to credit the pitch by Derek Locke. It was a great block by Hines, the left guard up front, but this was a pitch under duress on the end around to Cobbs. He looked like he was going to score, and he may have crossed that football before the knee touch, but a terrific job of using the speed
play
on the outside.
Is under review.
Well, they're going to take a look at it and see if he broke the plane. This Kentucky team, you go back to 2006, no stranger to comebacks. So they've had 13 4th-quarter comebacks. And we're almost into the 4th quarter now with 55 seconds to go in the 3rd. Just has to get the tip of the ball over that white line. The ball is there, but is his knee down, John?
Yeah, it looked like the knee may have touched just before the ball broke the plane of the goal line, but a terrific effort by Randall Cobb. Going to get a couple different looks at it. The right knee looks like it's down just before the ball broke the plane of the goal line.
Great stretch. He's 5'11". He looked like he was about 6'7" on that stretch.
Yeah, I don't think he ever saw Andrew Taglianetti coming here for the shot.
After further review, The play stands as called on the field. First down.
Well, Randall Cobb almost had his 6th rushing touchdown here this season. Play stands, and Kentucky will be knocking on the door.
A huge hit by Andrew Taglianetti right around the 3-yard line that held Cobb just short of the goal line, or else he's going to be able to get into the end zone.
14th play of the drive coming up. It started back at the 26-yard line.
This is the drive Kentucky needed late in the third quarter to answer one of Pitt's scores. They have to close the gap here, and they're inside the 1-yard line.
Block dots the I. They give it to the first man, Allen, and he's in for the touchdown. Monsell Allen, former tailback. They had to convince him to play fullback, and he didn't want to do it. But he's doing it now, and he gets in for the touchdown. The first touchdown for Kentucky today.
Well, Allen gets airborne. Only 11 carries for 39 yards on the season, but he does a nice job of protecting the football with both hands, and he gets Kentucky on the scoreboard to try to close the gap to a 10-point deficit.
And the conversion by McIntosh is right down the middle of the freeway. So the Kentucky Wildcats put together a nice drive, and now it's 20-10. Let's check in with Kara.
Well, guys, Monsell Allen, his nickname, if you look at him, is the Turtle. As you all remember, Kentucky fans, fullback John Connor, they used to call him the Terminator. Now that Allen has taken over the fullback role as Connor continues to shine with the Jets, they've changed his nickname this year to the Turtlenator.
And Derek Locke, before the season started, really had to convince him. He says, hey, we need you at the fullback. He goes, I don't want to play fullback. I'm a tailback. I've always been a tailback. He lived in New Orleans. Katrina forced him to Charlotte, North Carolina. And, well, now he's playing fullback and doing a good job.
Well, he's 5'7", 232. He's a stout turtle, because he put those shoulders north and south, and no one was going to stop him from the 1-yard line. But a good job of mixing the football outside to Cobb, getting the football to your playmakers in Derek Locke, and then Allen goes in from 1 yard. So a terrific drive by the Kentucky Wildcats. They really needed that 14-play, 74-yard drive. They took close to 5 minutes off the clock, and now they're back in this football game.
See Sadler back, and McIntosh ready to kick off for Kentucky. 41 seconds to go before we move into the final 15 minutes of this game. Can Kentucky hold on to momentum now? They're taken inside the 15-yard line. Ray Graham. And Graham's up over the 30-yard line. And a lot of emotions down on the field right now. It's more pushing and shoving going on. Go back to last year. It was Dave Wanstead in Charlotte at the Meineke Car Care Bowl. They needed the victory for the 10 wins. And Deion Lewis, 159 yards rushing, the MVP of the game. And Dan Hutchins with the field goal. 19-17. And Dave Wanstead and the Pitt Panthers finished 10-3. They're winning a season since 1981. And here we are a year later. Dave Wanstead forced to resign. Phil Bennett's the acting head coach now before heading off to Baylor. Street with the end around. Streets very close to a first down. A good call by Brian Angelico, John, because they got to make sure that Kentucky doesn't grab Big Mo and pull him over on their side.
Well, just as the last series was very important for Kentucky to go down and get some points, they were able to get a touchdown, take a lot of time off the clock. Now the Panthers closing in on the fourth quarter. It's their turn to try to take some time off the clock, get a nice drive. Whether they get a touchdown or a field goal is irrelevant. They just need to control the football, and if they can get points at the end of this drive, it's only a bonus.
Dino Sunseri just 67 yards passing in the first 30 minutes. Pittsburgh now up to 228 total yards. Kentucky 224. Graham dancing his way into Wildcat territory over the 50-yard line. Picks up 9 on the play. And that's going to be the final play of the third quarter. 45 minutes in the books, 15 minutes to come. The Kentucky Wildcats down by 10. Can they overcome these Pitt Panthers? For Joker Phillips here in the fourth quarter.
Join Boomer and the gang for Sunday NFL Countdown, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
Ramada Worldwide, You do your thing, leave the rest to us. Ramada Worldwide. You do your thing, leave the rest to us. Now do your thing for less. Save 20%. Book now.
Bringing money to people, especially now in this recession. People are losing their jobs, and sometimes the tax return is all that they have.
If there's any way I can get a few extra dollars in my bank account, for me it really does matter.
We've set up next to the Nickel Diner in LA to offer people a free second look at their taxes.
If you take another peek, you never know what you can get.
I did my own taxes, and that's probably why I didn't get no money back.
Please, find some extra money for us.
We want to get back every dime due.
Can I deduct credit card charges? I'm actually a caregiver. I take care of my mom.
What is not to love about bringing money back to people? Tonight, we have come to reveal the second look results.
Can I have the glasses, please?
$431.
300. 980. 1,200. 2,000.
It's their money. We're just bringing it back home. H&R Block, never settle for less.
Share your love for our Earth, too. Curbside e-cycling is making it easier to recycle computers and electronics. We can now shred your old documents and properly dispose of expired medication. A new light bulb exchange program is the bright way to trade old bulbs for energy-efficient lights. Call Kate Murray's recycling team today for details.
In movies, I played the tough guy. But my son Danny, as stunt coordinator, was the real tough guy. Yet even he couldn't beat pancreatic cancer. That's why I support the Lustgarten Foundation. It's dedicated to finding a cure for this deadly disease. And Cablevision support ensures that 100% of every donation you make goes directly to pancreatic cancer research. In my son Danny's memory, join me in the fight. Visit curepc.org today. Thank you.
Now. Back inside historic Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. The start of the fourth quarter, 20-10, and Kentucky finally getting Randall Cobb involved, John.
And Morgan Newton led a terrific drive on the last set of downs, but they did get Randall Cobb involved. They got him underneath, and good mismatches on the outside. A drop by Matt Work in the back of the end zone. Don't worry, Kentucky. Cobb to the rescue. Got the ball on the end around, gets it down inside the 1-yard line. And then Monsell Allen goes in for the score. The Turtle over the top for 6 points. So now Kentucky back in this football game with 15 minutes left to go.
Randy Sanders, the offensive coordinator, and I think Kara touched on this earlier in the broadcast. He said Randall Cobb probably not the most talented football player, but you'd be hard-pressed to find a better football player, maybe in all of America. Definitely versatile, set the SEC single-season record for all-purpose yards in this game today. And now Pittsburgh trying to make sure Big Mo stays on their side. Good spin all the way down to the 40-yard line. A gain of 7 on the play. Lucas Nix with a nice block again. So a 50-yard field goal by Craig McIntosh put Kentucky on the board. You see Pittsburgh's defense, 4 sacks and a block punt, playing without Miles Carrageen or the Big East Defensive Player of the Year in Jabal Shear.
And that was a big worry of the Pitt defense coming in, Mike. They did a good job of pressuring the quarterback, and now Cobb for Kentucky getting hot offensively. So this sets up to be a terrific fourth quarter.
You know, Sinceri didn't like what he saw, and he's going to call a timeout to talk things over. And Pittsburgh will have 2 timeouts remaining with 14:30 to go.
Pittsburgh. First charge timeout of the second half.
You know, John, Pittsburgh sitting on top 20-10, 14-30. They have the ball, so they're sitting in good position. But I'm a little bit surprised. We talked with Phil Bennett yesterday. He says, we got to get John Baldwin involved early. That really hasn't happened. He has 1 catch for 12 yards.
Yeah, very surprising because he had an opportunity. He had an opportunity to go down the field and make a big play on the jump ball and ended up dropping it when he got to the ground. But I was surprised. I thought they'd try to get the football, force feed him early to get the coverage to roll away from him, make it easier for some other things with the Pitt offense. But it's been the Pitt running game. You know, it's the same old story. You have to come back to what you do well, and that's what Brian Angelico knows how to call well. He's seen offensive coordinator Frank Sinetti in the past rely on the run, mix it up with the play action, and when you're running the football for Pittsburgh, that's when it comes you can get to the play action. So 162 yards as a team rushing for the Panthers, and they've mixed it up with that two-headed monster in Dion Lewis and Ray Graham.
72 for Lewis, Graham with 43. That was Hynoski in motion, and this is going to be Graham inside the 40 down to the 39-yard line. Danny Trevathan with another tackle, the SEC leader. Pittsburgh, 14-17 to go. They were number one in the Big East as far as time of possession, about 32 plus on the clock. So right now they'd obviously love to eat some clock and put together a nice sustained drive.
This is an important drive for the Panthers. We talked about Kentucky answering to get the score to 20-10. Now the Panthers with the ball on the Kentucky side of the 40-yard line have to put together a drive here.
Graham follows block, trying to turn the corner. Not quite. Down to the 35-yard line. A lot of blue jerseys. A gain of 4 on the play. So Steve Brown, the defensive coordinator, says it's running game. Angles and getting a lot of blue jerseys on the football. And he wasn't overly satisfied with the number of blue jerseys throughout the SEC season.
Yeah, he talked about pursuit angles when we got to talk to him about a week ago. Contain and take good pursuit angles. That would be the key to stopping Dion Lewis and Ray Graham. They've been doing a fairly decent job in between the tackles, but the Panthers on the last couple of plays have been able to get the edge with the end around and on that play with Ray Graham.
3rd and 4. Panthers 4 for 8. Converting on 3rd down. Sinceri looked, fires down the middle, and this one's going to be dropped, incomplete. A little bit shy on the pass, and again, Devin Street looked up into the sun, and he found the ball, but the ball was just too short.
Yeah, and something we haven't paid a lot of attention to, but the wind on the field is a little bit different. We've seen the ball on field goals, and we've seen the ball on punts travel, and Sinceri takes a big hit from Danny Trevathan, but this ball seemed to just drop out of the sky, and it may have been the sun as well, but a situation where Sinceri may have been able to tuck the football, run for a first down, but he gambled and went down the field. Now the Panthers will go for it on 4th down.
7 of 17 this year on 4th down. That's 41%. Also 7th in the Big East, as you can see, but it's 4th and 4 out of the shotgun. Sinceri fires. They've got it. Down to the 20-yard line. The ball is complete. Mike Cruz on the receiving end. His 2nd catch, and it's a big one for 15.
Well, credit Sinceri. There was good pressure on him by Evans, the defensive end for the Kentucky Wildcats, but the athleticism of Tino is able to extend the play to his right, and Mike Cruz has done this all season long. He's been able to keep plays alive. He was covered early. Sinceri's able to flush himself out to the right. He actually was ready to throw the football down the field, retains the football, throws it out, finds his big tight end on the Kentucky sideline, and the Panthers are able to move the chains.
2 catches, 24 yards for Cruz. Graham now hits that line of scrimmage. Nothing going that time. As Danny Trevathan again in on another stop. That's 8 now for Danny Trevathan. First team All-America, Trevathan. And again, 10.8 tackles a game, number 1 in the SEC.
Mike, he's everything that everyone was talking about. When you watch the football, look for number 22 because Trevathan's going to be around the football. He runs sideline to sideline. He's not afraid to hit you in between the tackles.
2nd and 9, and Dion Lewis back on the field now behind Hynoski. Docks the eye, gets the call. Lewis finds a seam, spins all the way down to the 10-yard line. Last year, the first to win the Big East Offensive Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year award since 1999, which pretty popular name, or a pretty impressive name back for Virginia Tech back in those days.
Michael Vick, yeah, that's right. And Dion Lewis continues to be a stellar athlete for the Pitt Panthers. Watch the move in between the tackles. Just that subtle move, Mike, is able to propel him for the first down. 16 carries for 82 yards. He was the player of the year last year, and as you said, first freshman to win both since '99 in Michael Vick.
And they keep it on the ground with Lewis. Kind of dances his way inside the 5-yard line. And he picks up 6 more. He had 82 before that rush, so give him 88, 12 shy of another 100-yard game.
Mike, the one thing you like about Dion Lewis is in between those big bodies, you can't find him. And he's able to go right or left, and it's tough for a defense to really pick out and get a good shot on Dion Lewis because he's always spinning and he's always moving inside the tackle box.
Well, he certainly finished strong against Cincinnati with 261 rushing yards in that game. Last year, though, John, 325 carries. That is a ton of carries. He came in with 197. And it's Lewis again, and he's going to be shy of that end zone. Hit the right side of the line, cut back, and he's down at about the 2, a gain of 3 more. But he's 5'8", 195 at best, right?
Yes.
325 carries last year. That is a ton. That's about 25 a game.
Well, this year, you know, with the emergence of Ray Graham, he was spelled because Graham really carried the load in the beginning of the season, and then Dion got on track. And I think that they're at their best when both of these guys can contribute.
Panthers with an extra offensive lineman in there now for the running game, and Lewis is going to break to the outside, get in for another touchdown. Dion Lewis, that's his 13th rushing touchdown this year. This one from 2 yards out. And speaking of Big Mo, they made sure Big Mo stayed on Pittsburgh's side.
Great vision and great patience shown by the running back, the sophomore Dion Lewis. He follows his fullback, Henry Hynoski, off the right side, as well as Chris Jacobson on the right side. And Lewis gets in with ease against this stiff Kentucky defense. So it's a great job, a good drive by Tino Sinceri on 4th down, extending the play to his tight end, Mike Cruz, culminating on the Dion Lewis run.
Hutchins for the PAT. Hynoski with a nice block, as you mentioned, on hard-hitting safety Michael Bailey. 69 yards in 12 plays.
12 plays, taking 5:09 off the clock. The Panthers push the lead after the Dion Lewis run to 27-10.
Team works in football and in banking. BBVA Compass, official sponsor of the BBVA Compass Bowl.
Yes! I got the boss's tickets on Saturday. Football! We're saying snow on Saturday, too. Record lows. Old school, the frozen tundra. Winter warriors on a merciless field. Hands frozen numb.
You know, I'd sell those tickets if I were you.
What?
Oh, yeah. You can get good money for those.
Who says the best seat at the game has to be at the game? If it's Lane, it's right in your living room.
Yeah, we see you.
Get the best seat at the game at lanegame.com.
Sunday, college football comes to the city by the bay. The 12-1 Nevada Wolfpack face the Boston College Eagles in the inaugural Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl. Kraft Foods and its iconic brands such as Oreo, Kraft Singles, Maxwell House, Kraft Mac and Cheese, and Oscar Mayer are proud sponsors of the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl.
An amazing comeback by the Wolfpack.
Nevada versus Boston College, Sunday at 9 Eastern on ESPN.
In the event of a collision, the smartest thing you could do is cut the fuel supply, unlock the doors, and turn on the hazard lights. Or better yet, get a car that automatically does it for you.
Do you have something for pain? Oh, Bear aspirin. I'm not having a heart attack. It's my back.
It works great for pain.
Nothing's proven to relieve pain better than extra-strength Bear aspirin. It rushes relief to the site of pain.
Feel better?
Yeah, thanks for the tip.
ESPN College Football, the BBVA Compass Bowl, is brought to you by BBVA Compass, listening to customers to create banking built for you. The all-new Volkswagen Jetta, it's great for the price of good. That's Das Auto. And the Touchdown Big Box, only at Taco Bell.
There's a legend of Bear Bryant at the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. Bear Bryant, of course, former Kentucky and Alabama head coach. And right now, the Kentucky Wildcats watching Pittsburgh scoring. You look at Pittsburgh, slow start here today, but the last 6 drives putting some points on the board, John.
Well, they've been able to put some points on the scoreboard. It's the time of possession on the first drive and the last drive. The field goal went 14 plays, 70 yards, and then that last drive, 12 plays, 69 yards, and a touchdown. This Pitt offense has been really relying on the run. 189 yards on the ground today for the Panthers. Only 96 yards passing, but a nice 4th down conversion by Tino Sinceri to his tight end Mike Cruz to keep that last drive alive.
Harper's kick, and it's going to be taken by Cobb, and Cobb weaves his way through traffic all the way up to the 30-yard line. 14-yard return. Let's check in with the studio. Here's Will Selva.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Coming up at 3:40 Eastern here on ESPN, number 9 UConn and number 12 Texas. From Calhoun's Connecticut Huskies, 10-0 against non-conference opponents this season. We're back to you in Birmingham.
Thanks a lot, Will. There's the young quarterback, Morgan Newton, trying to get something going now for Kentucky. They trail 27-10. And John, I had a funny feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of number 18 over the last 10 minutes and 20 seconds.
We should, and it should be a lot of number 12 throwing from the pocket and trying to get out of pressure.
Nice job of avoiding that rush, and they're going deep and a little bit too deep, but a penalty flag drop way back in the secondary. It was thrown at about the 30-yard line all the way up to the 45. Jared Hawley in coverage for Pittsburgh, and it's going to be Hawley called with the holding call, I believe.
Absolutely. It looked like everybody in blue, if they had had a flag, they would have thrown it on the field that time.
Holding on the defense. 10 yards to the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Well, for a while they were trading field goals. We had a 6-3 ball game, then 13-3 at the half, favoring Phil Bennett's Pitt Panthers. This game could wind up, the way things are going, it could wind up like 42-31 the way they're going at it. Right at about the 50-yard line.
Yeah, there's the hold right there as the Kentucky wide receiver was trying to break off that corner route and get behind the Pitt secondary. And it's actually, sometimes you say it's a good hold. That was a good decision by Jared Hawley.
Well, if you get beat, you're always taught tackle the guy, right?
That's right.
But it's another first down, and this one's complete. Matthews finally on the receiving end, and he's up near the midfield stripe. We're inside Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama for the BBVA Compass Bowl. Along with John Kajemi, the former Pitt quarterback, and Kara Capuano, I'm Mike Gleason. Great to have you with us as Kentucky playing catch-up now, trailing 27-10. Pitt Panthers, you see number 96, Justin Hargrove. He has a sack. You see the ball control. Look how even, huh? 26-43 time of possession to 23-15, and look at the yards.
Yeah, and the number of plays. Kentucky trying to get a little bit more up-tempo now in the fourth quarter.
Newton, plenty of time, looks up, fires, finds his man, and it's complete to LeRod King inside the 30-yard line. And it's Williams, the true freshman, in coverage that time for Pitt. 26 yards on the play.
Mike, no question. Best throw by Morgan Newton all afternoon. He had to drop this in a bucket, and LeRod King was running away from him from the Pitt sideline to the Kentucky sideline. This is just a nice touch pass and a perfectly located football. LeRod King did not have to break stride. He just had to run underneath this little rainbow, and that's a nice drop-in throw by Morgan Newton.
Well, Newton, only a sophomore, 3 state championships at Carmel, Indiana, working out of the shotgun now. Well, set up nicely, and inside the 20, 15, and the stumbling is Anthony Kendrick. Quick developing play, but set up nicely, John.
And a nice drive by Kentucky. They're picking up the pace on offense. They know that time is not on their side with 9:12 and counting, so they want to get 7 points on the scoreboard out of this drive. And Kentucky getting Joker Phillips, getting a little bit more momentum in that offense, doing a good job of coming back after a Pitt score. Now Morgan Newton answering the challenge.
Keeping on the ground. Trying to turn the corner. Another penalty flag dropped at about the 17-yard line. The Pitt defense doing a nice job of stretching that play out.
Holding on the offense. Number 8, 10 yards. Repeat, first down.
That's Chris Matthews, the wide receiver. ESPN, the home court of college hoops. College basketball coverage continues Tuesday night. 3 games on 2 ESPN networks at 7 Eastern on ESPNU. It's number 11 Kentucky against the Auburn Tigers, while Wisconsin takes on number 19 Michigan State in the Big Ten battle on ESPN at 7 Eastern. Then at 9 Eastern on ESPN, the Florida Gators and the Tennessee Volunteers. College basketball on ESPNU and ESPN coming up on Tuesday. Of course, Kentucky fans passionate and wild about their college basketball. Now their football team playing catch-up. Newton got rid of the ball, incomplete, just to avoid the sack. Pretty good job of doing that.
Well, good pressure by Brandon Lindsay on the outside. Did a terrific job of trying to corral the 6'4", 235 sophomore quarterback, Morgan Newton. Newton's tough to bring down, and he bought himself some time by retreating. But Brandon Lindsay, you talk about a guy coming out of nowhere, the junior out of Aliquippa, PA, had a terrific season for the Pitt Panthers. Second team All-Big East. He had 10 sacks on the season, and he's been relentless on the season, picking up the slack from Jamal Sheard, who's not playing in this football game today.
Yeah, Lindsay, converted linebacker, and almost had to play fullback. Said he did want to play fullback. Almost transferred out of Pittsburgh, but doing a super job at defensive end. Newton looking and overshooting the intended receiver. That was Derek Locke. Tristan Roberts in coverage from his linebacking spot for Pitt.
Little wheel route on the outside by the fast Derek Locke on the inside, coming from inside to outside. Tristan Roberts, he had a step on him, and Joker Phillips knows that was one of those scoring opportunities you hate to miss. Morgan Newton threw such a nice pass a couple plays ago to Lerod King. He tried to drop it in the bucket again to Locke on the outside, but it's tough to find that 5'9" guy running up the rail.
45% on the year on third down today, 4 of 10. 40%. 3rd and 20. And it's going to go incomplete. Remember back in the first half, it was 3rd and 19, and Newton almost ran for it. Came up a few inches shy. And now it's 4th down. There's 8:22, 27-10. You take 3 right here. Looks like they're going to go for the field goal.
Yeah, they're going to bring that field goal unit on. They faked a punt, and it wasn't successful early in this football game, but Joker Phillips going to try to get 3 points on the scoreboard here.
He's been good from 50 and 41. This one's from 41. McIntosh, here's the kick. And he pushed it, or he pulled it to the left side. And so he's good from 50, and he misses from 41. And I was half joking that time when I said that are they going to take the 3 points? It was 3rd and 20. Didn't think they'd go for it on 4th and 20. Joker Phillips not happy with the kick by McIntosh. So with 8:16 to go, it's still 27-10. Pittsburgh on top.
Meet Dale Jr., NASCAR owner and driver of the Tax Slayer car.
In this business, you make it or break it by 2 words: fast and efficient.
That's why when tax season rolls around, Dale and his crew turn to TaxSlayer.com to file their taxes the fastest and most efficient way possible.
Tax Slayer is quick and easy, and it only costs $9.95. It's even powerful enough to handle my return.
Do what the guys who know a little bit about speed and efficiency do. Log on to TaxSlayer.com.
File your taxes fast with TaxSlayer.com.
Another day, another dollar. Daylight comes, I'm on the way. Another day, another dollar. Working my whole life away. Another day, another dollar.
It's game time, and you've only got $5. Taco Bell's Touchdown $5 Box. Get a beefy crunch burrito, crunch wrap supreme, crunchy taco, cinnamon twists, and a nice cold medium soda. The Touchdown $5 Box, only at Taco Bell.
Can we turn the AC up? I'm dying back here.
Jeff, eat a Snickers, please.
Why?
Every time you get hungry, you turn into a diva.
A diva?
Yes, a diva.
Okay.
Thank you. Better?
You're not you when you're hungry.
Better.
Snickers satisfies.
Hi, may I help you?
Yes, I hear Progressive has lots of discounts on car insurance. Can I get in on that?
Are you a safe driver?
Yes.
Discount. Do you own a home?
Yes.
Discount? Are you gonna buy online?
Yes.
Discount! Isn't getting discounts great?
Yes!
There's no discount for agreeing with me.
Yeah, I got carried away.
It happens to me all the time.
Helping you save money. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
Sunny blue skies in Birmingham, Alabama. But for the Kentucky Blue right now, they're down by 17 with 8:16 to go. And Pittsburgh has the football. The Kentucky Wildcats need the victory to finish 7-6 for the 2010 season. And for Phil Bennett, who's headed to Baylor next year, join Art Briles, a victory here would push the Panthers to 8-5. You look at the Pittsburgh coaching search. There's some interesting names there. Of course, you're close with Sal Sinceri. Tom Bradley, the defensive coordinator at Penn State. Todd Graham from Tulsa still on the list. Bud Foster, he surfaced recently from Virginia Tech. Terrell Austin, a former Pitt player, and Greg Roman, the only offensive coach there from Stanford on that list. Your thoughts as you take a look at the list?
Well, there's a lot of impressive names on here. 3 people that I know personally. Tom Bradley, the defensive coordinator at Penn State, just a terrific coach. He's been there for years, has a wealth of experience. Sal Sinceri, an assistant coach, associate head coach down in Alabama, just a terrific guy, knows football, knows what Pittsburgh's all about. And then a former teammate of mine in Terrell Austin, doing a great job at University of Florida. They make a coaching change, so he's looking to go elsewhere. And 3 quality guys that you know can come back and recruit. And that's the biggest thing of anybody on that list. They're going to have to come back and repair some damage that is done with the recruits, the guys that were verbally committed that are not coming to Pittsburgh or maybe on the fence now. That's where the repair has to happen for this Panther team to continue to roll, because right now it seems like they have the momentum on the sidelines and the players and the coaches that are here.
It seems like a lot of boosters, the money people, the donors are a little bit upset right now. Is that a knee-jerk reaction, or they hold on to that venom towards Steve Peterson right now?
Well, you know, they have every right to be, because, you know, this is something that they put pride in and they've invested in, and this is their university as well as anybody else's. And, you know, guys that put their hand in their pocket and give to a university, especially if they have ties to it and they live in the city and they feel like that, you know, that's ownership to it. And it's a situation where, you know, if something happens in a coaching change that really maybe didn't have to happen, because you take a look at this team today, they're playing for their coaching staff, they're playing for their city, they're playing for themselves, and this is a tight-knit unit, and I don't see that a big overhaul needed to happen at this point.
Well, the kids are playing well, too, because I thought their focus might be a little off points with everything that's gone on in Pittsburgh recently. Lewis with another carry. He's over 100 yards now for the afternoon. Ronnie Sneed makes the tackle. Right now, let's go back to the studio to check in with Will Selva.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Over on ESPN2, Kansas State and Oklahoma State. K-State riding a 3-game losing streak. Following that game is Florida State and Virginia Tech. Malcolm Delaney, 34 points shy of 1,900 points for his career. And right after we're done here on ESPN, number 9 UConn and number 12 Texas. There's UConn's Kemba Walker leading the nation in scoring. He'll be on full display afterwards.
All right, thanks a lot, Will. Back here in Birmingham, 6-11 and counting now. Pittsburgh with the football, trying to milk that clock. And up over the 40-yard line, Ray Graham with the call that time. At the top of the broadcast, John, we talked about Dion Lewis needing 62 yards to pass LaShawn McCoy. And he had 62 fewer carries coming into the game. That's pretty impressive.
It is impressive. It's been impressive what both of these backs have been able to do, and a young quarterback, a young football team, and they've been able to rally around what's happened over the last couple of weeks and come out and concentrate on this football game. So you have to credit the coaching staff that Dave wants that put together and assembled, of having these kids focused on what the task at hand is, because when it's all said and done, these kids have each other to rely on.
Pittsburgh coming in, averaging 158 rushing yards, and this one's going to be almost picked off. I was just about to say Pittsburgh with 208 yards rushing, and Tino Sinceri trying to pad those passing numbers right now, but he almost threw his second pick.
Well, Nellums, the defensive corner, almost came up with a huge play for Joker Phillips and could have got the football with excellent field position with 5:22 left for Kentucky, but it went through the arms of Mike Shanahan, a ball that was high, and you know Steve Brown on that sideline was trying to catch the football for his cornerback on the play.
Well, if they got the ball back here in the fourth quarter, they need some instant offense. And Pittsburgh now with a 3rd and 4. They pick up another first down here to do some serious damage to that Kentucky football team. And this one intended for Shanahan, and he had it with one hand and couldn't hold on, so that'll bring up a punting situation, and Kentucky will get the football back with 5:17 to go.
We have a dangerous player catching the football in Randall Cobb. We've seen what he can do when he catches the football offensively, and on special teams he had a couple nice kick returns. Now he has a punt return opportunity. If he gets the ball clean, it could be a lot of happy people wearing blue and white in the stands.
Third punt. Hutchins, number 1 in the Big East this year, gets it off, and Cobb will get it to inside the 20-yard line. His long a 50-yard return this year with 1 touchdown gets up over the 30, a 40-yard punt, and a 14-yard return. Max Gruder, the middle linebacker, making the stop. 5:04 to go, and it's 27-10 Pitt, Kentucky with the ball.
ESPN The Weekend, March 3rd through the 6th. Visit ESPNTheWeekend.com.
Team works in football and in banking. BBVA Compass, official sponsor of the BBVA Compass Bowl.
Our breakout session is going to be great. Got the Gecko t-shirt, 4 million drivers switched. Gecko water bottle, notebook, chamois.
Sir, I feel a little bit uncomfortable with all this. I mean, it's not about me. It should be about how Geico's the 3rd largest car insurance company in the nation. Things like that.
Oh, of course. We're not going to get carried away.
Yeah, all right. As long as we don't overdo it.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Recycling is a great way to say you love our planet. The Supervisor Kate Murray and the Town Board have added new programs so that you can share your love for our Earth, too. Curbside e-cycling is making it easier to recycle computers and electronics. We can now shred your old documents and properly dispose of expired medication. A new light bulb exchange program is the bright way to trade old bulbs for energy-efficient lights. Call Kate Murray's recycling team today for details.
Welcome back to Optimum Insider Feature of the Month, IO Photos. Now you can view Facebook photos right on your TV. Just go to optimum.net/photos and log in, click on the Facebook icon, and connect. Then tune to IOTV channel 640. You can see your friends' pictures and photo albums, view comments, and more. Even view your own photos if you'd like. IO Photos is another great way to take advantage of everything Optimum has to offer. See you next time.
Welcome back to Birmingham, Alabama, 27-10. Pittsburgh on top of Kentucky with 5:04 to go in the game. Monday night, ESPN delivers the marquee event of the college football season, the Tostitos BCS National Championship. Number 1 Auburn and number 2 Oregon on ESPN Monday night. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern. The game also available on ESPN Radio, online at ESPN3.com, on ESPN 3D, and on your phone. And right now, this young quarterback, Morgan Newton, trying to get something going, and time is not on his side, John.
You know, he has to have something going right away, and he gets it outside on first down.
Locke, he's got some burners. He's in Pittsburgh territory all the way down inside the 45. Jared Hawley finally brings him down, along with Tristan Roberts. A 23-yard gain now for Locke, who actually arrived in Lexington, Kentucky on a track scholarship, and you can see why.
Absolutely.
Newton comes up firing. Complete again inside the 40. This one's complete to Chris Matthews. So Matthews, the big receiver out of Los Angeles, with his 3rd catch. You talk about the fact that they need the victory to go to 7-6 and have a winning season, John, but I guess if there's any silver lining, this is going to be your quarterback next year, more than likely. So he's getting some reps here today, and this one should have been picked off, or almost was picked off at the 29-yard line by Max Gruder.
Yeah, you get a good look at your quarterback of the future. Max Gruder, as you said, should have come up with the interception, but Morgan Newton only came into this football game this season 4 of 7. So this was, very valuable for him, the practice time, and you could really see how he matured in the football game from the first half to the second half. 11 of 19 for 129, and he's learned from Mike Hartline over these past 2 weeks in progression and how to approach a football game, and I think that he'll be better for playing in this game.
Well, we mentioned a big-time recruit. This one's complete to Kendrick, and he's driven out of bounds. Big numbers in high school for Newton coming out of Indiana. 4,200 yards passing, 37 touchdowns, 2,600 rushing, 37 touchdowns. But again, Mike Hartline was number 2 in the SEC passing the football. This year, Hartline sitting this one out. Newton, 20 of 34 for 205 yards. Good calls to keep him on the ground down shy of the 20-yard line. And Derek Locke with the carry, and DeSico makes the stop. 12 more yards for Kentucky.
Kentucky doing a nice job of picking up some pace, and this is where you may miss a veteran quarterback making decisions, as the game narrows down to the end.
Matthews again inside the 20 down to about the 18-yard line. Ricky Gary makes the stop, but Kentucky picks up 5 more yards. Clock is running, 3:43. .3:30 to go after the game. Tune into ESPN3.com for the trophy presentation. Blocked. Can't quite turn the corner. Runs out of real estate, and he's driven out of bounds by Tristan Roberts, the redshirt junior out of Pennsylvania. Gain of 4.
Locke did a nice job of getting what he could get on the short side of the football field and then stopping the clock, getting out of bounds temporarily. Now it's back and running at 3:18 and counting. So Joker Phillips and his quarterback Morgan Newton trying to convert a 3rd down here as time runs down close to 3 minutes in this football game.
3rd and just 1. Locke with 71 yards rushing in the backfield. Newton under center. Good rush by Pittsburgh. Newton back to the end zone. He had nowhere to go. Intended receiver was Chris Matthews. Went over his head, but again, you can credit that Pittsburgh rush.
Yeah, it was good pressure in the offensive backfield, and an inexperienced quarterback in Morgan Newton, you have to get plays in and out, and that time he was changing plays at the line of scrimmage with the clock running down on him. So now it's at 2:50 and you're down 27-10. It's more important to maybe on a 3rd and 1 get the play, run a play. The clock will stop it on the conversion, and then get back to the line of scrimmage and run your next play on 1st down.
Shane Hale is putting on the pressure for Pittsburgh that time. 4th down out of the I formation. Locke dots the I, gets the pitch. Not with Sanders, and he is going down with a big loss. All the way back to the 25-yard line. Sanders got the pitch. Brandon Lindsay with the big defensive play for Pittsburgh.
Well, Lindsay on the day had that forced fumble. Now had a tackle for a loss, a huge tackle on the loss to seal the football game.
2 minutes and 41 seconds to go. Brandon Lindsay led the Pitt Panthers with 16 tackles for loss. Got a big one for a loss of 11 right there.
Team works in football and in banking. BBVA Compass, official sponsor of the BBVA Compass Bowl.
In the event of a collision, the smartest thing you could do is cut the fuel supply, unlock the doors, and turn on the hazard lights. Or better yet, get a car that automatically does it for you.
Should I have all my policies with Nationwide Insurance?
Bring in the parrots.
Home, auto, life.
You see, Jack, when your home, auto, and life insurance are with separate companies, they're just noisy, right? But when they work together... Beautiful. Nationwide Insurance can get your policies in sync and save you up to 25%.
I didn't know they could sing like that.
Hit it, fellas.
Nationwide is on your side.
This is Lara. Her morning begins with arthritis pain. That's a coffee and 2 pills. The afternoon tour begins with more pain and more pills. The evening guests arrive, back to sore knees, back to more pills. The day is done, but hang on. Her doctor recommended Aleve. Just 2 pills can keep arthritis pain away all day with fewer pills than Tylenol. This is Lara, who chose 2 Aleve and fewer pills for a day free of pain. And get the all-day pain relief of Aleve in liquid gels.
Phil Bennett's pacing the sidelines, up by 17 with just 2:41 to go. Bennett, the 1995 National Defensive Coordinator of the Year. He was at Texas A&M, and he's going home back to Texas after this ball game. Let's check back in with the studio. Here's Will Selva. Will?
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Coming up after we're done, number 9 UConn and number 12 Texas. Dickie V soaking it in, baby. Texas has won 2 of the last 3 meetings. As for the UConn ladies, right now they're in a serious tussle with Notre Dame. Right now, UConn is leading 46-45. Now back to Birmingham, Mike and John. Guys?
All right, thanks a lot, Will. And last year, South Carolina went down to UConn, and right now there's just 2 minutes to go. And the Pitt Panthers with the football in the lead, 27-10. So it looks like another Big East victory here in Birmingham, Alabama. Graham, boy, following, just riding his blockers for another first down, all the way over the 35, close to the 40-yard line. Chris Jacobson making a nice block. Let's take a look now at our H&R Block never settled play, John.
And it was really the turning point of this football game. Andrew Taglianetti comes in his 5th career block punt, just perfectly timed. Nobody touched him, and it sets up a Pitt touchdown by quarterback Tino Sinceri. Lunges in from the 1-yard line, and that was the H&R Block never settled play.
And these Pitt Panthers never settled, and they wanted to win this one not only for Dave Wanstead, but for Phil Bennett and the coaches that stuck around. That couldn't have been easy the last month. Obviously putting in long hours getting ready for a bowl game, but looking for employment, future employment as well. And Phil Bennett's a little bit chilly here in Birmingham to get a bath. And but he'll love every second of that one. That's Jabal Sheard coming over, giving him a big hug. And Phil Bennett, what a great guy, huh? I'll miss those meetings in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Talking football.
That entire staff, you know, they've always treated us with class and given us the information we need to do the football games. And I think Dave Wanstead put together a pretty solid staff.
Kentucky.
And you can tell by where they're going throughout the country.
Yeah, Frank Cignetti, Jeff Hafley already was employment with Greg Schiano at Rutgers. As we head downstairs and check in with Kara.
Well, guys, we talked to today's offensive coordinator, Brian Angelico, about what he's going to remember most about this trying experience. And he said he's going to remember how the players handled it, how hard they worked. They never quit on the coaching staff, the respect that they showed both the staff and the Pittsburgh program. That means a lot to these coaches, and you can tell that the coaches mean a lot to the players yesterday. Harry Hynoski told us they are playing for Dave Wanstead, and they are playing for this staff that stuck around and believed in them and stayed with them.
Well, that's a great point, Kara, and it's a great victory in that regard. 27-10 now with a minute and a half to go. Brian Angelico had great rapport with Frank Cignetti, but he said he was really looking forward to calling some plays, too.
Yeah, you could tell the excitement in his voice and the way he carried himself last night as Tino Sinceri takes the bootleg. And he's going to just fall around the 30-yard line. But you're right, Mike. You could tell how excited he was to call plays. You could tell how excited Phil Bennett was to kind of get the reins and go back again, being a former head coach and being able to make those decisions, those tough decisions on game day. But the one main thing, the one thing that everybody, you know, you could filter through the words was the passion that they had for the coach that's not here, and Dave Wanstead, how they wanted to win for him and how they wanted to win for their university and how they wanted to win for their city and how all the players were going to bond together, because when it's all said and done, it still is the University of Pittsburgh, and it still is these players out there representing that entity, and they did it quite well today.
You just tell how happy Coach Bennett was down on the sidelines that last shot. Graham trying to run to daylight, and he gets down to the 20-yard line. We mentioned he's going to Baylor. Phil Bennett is joining Art Briles, and Art Briles, Baylor Bears, averaged almost 500 yards of offense this year, so he'll be a good addition to that staff. You remember back in the Kansas State when Phil Bennett was the defensive coordinator, 3 straight years they finished in the top 5.
Well, he can motivate you, and he's great with the X's and O's, and there's a lot of shaking of hands and a lot of job well done, because this is something that was so tough for this coaching staff, knowing that everybody was going in different directions at the end of this football game. But it's nice to see that people can stick together in times of need, and that's exactly what this unit did.
359 yards, slow start, but a decent finish for Pittsburgh offensively.
Yeah, 359 total yards today, this Pitt offense, and it was done by running the football, and it's a nice win for the University of Pittsburgh to come together. Out of all the stuff that has happened over the last 3 weeks, they found a way to beat a very good Kentucky football team.
So the Pitt Panthers finish 8-5, and the Kentucky Wildcats drop to 6-7. Final score once again, 27-10. The Pitt Panthers winning it here in Birmingham. For live coverage of the trophy ceremony down on the field, log on to ESPN3.com. For John Congemi and Kara Capuano and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Mike Leeson saying so long from Birmingham, Alabama. Pittsburgh, the 2011 BBVA Compass Bowl champions. 27-10, the final score. Pittsburgh rolls in Birmingham. Now here's college basketball coming up. Connecticut and number 12 Texas. But first, here's Will Selva back in the studio.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. As you mentioned, college hoops. Number 9 UConn and number 12 Texas. And there's Jordan Hamilton getting ready. Texas has won 27 straight non-conference home games. Now the formal introductions. Will Selva alongside Robert Smith here in the college football studios. We talked about it at halftime. The fact that Pitt has had a tumultuous 3 weeks with the coaching changes. Dave Wanstead elected not to coach this game. Instead, it was Phil Bennett, who used to coach at SMU. What does this say about Pitt to get this win here today?
Well, I think it says that they really had a lot of talent there, especially defensively. And as they said in the broadcast, Jabal Sheard had been injured. They had some other injured players defensively, so they had a real problem there.
Bowl season starting to wind down now. The penultimate game will be Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. It'll be Oregon and Auburn. Mike Tirico and company anchor our coverage from Arizona.